So you know I'm paid in full.
Hey, what's going on? It's another episode of the Teel podcast. I'm your host, and like always, I got another great guest back for the second time, Mr. Chase Livingston. What's going on, man?
Man, thanks so much for having me. And okay, who has come on the show more than once? Anybody besides me?
Yes, I had. Oh Lord, this is when you do stuff. Like, when you need to know something, you need to
immediately.
Who came twice? Somebody came. Lord, here I go. Already gonna have to start editing.
Well,
stuff.
here before you don't even have to go into that. But the point that I was getting to is, man, it's an honor to be here for the second time. Like, I don't know if that means the first one was good, or maybe there was, hey, we need to bring him back on to clarify some things, or hey, the conversation was good. Whatever it was, man, I'm happy to be here. But I will say, you got me out here past my bedtime.
It's only 8, brother.
It is 8:20. I will tell you about this time. Me and my wife and my 4-year-old were usually crawling into bed. We're putting on some movie. And 8:30, 8:45, I'm usually out. So whenever I told Haley, my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go do this podcast. She's like, okay, cool. What time? I said, it starts at 8. She's like, you're going to do a podcast at 8 o'clock. She said, and how long is this? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
she's
the
like,
thing. There's no time limit.
She's like, last time you went to Joe's house, you were literally there for like 3 hours. I was like, well, we're going to do it. So
yeah, it's a party, man.
It is.
I had the Cake House guy, Brendan Stovall. I had him twice. The first time we talked about Cake House, it was cool. We talked a lot about business. And then afterwards, he hit me with this whole, like, he just was going down these conspiracy theories. We ended up talking for like 3 hours more. So I was like, all right, got to bring bro back. Yes. So I came on now, and like at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, bro, let's not talk no business. Let's get rowdy. Let's talk
That's
wild.
Awesome.
And so we did that for like 2 hours. That was fun. And there was one more, Raw. This guy named Lil Raw.
Okay.
He's a music artist. Came in, talked about, he's had a lot of success on TikTok. A ton of streams, making like goofy songs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like songs about squatted trucks and yeah, dude, it's crazy. But then I brought him back because he's I've been recording for years. So for all these years, he's been telling me about the casino. Like,
okay.
He is in the casino a lot. Like, and so he was like, dude, I need to come on the podcast and talk about the casino. And I was like,
like stories from the casino?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I said, if I bring you on for an episode, to do an episode about the casino, I said, we were talking at least 45 minutes about it. Can you do that? He was like, easy. So I was like, yeah. This is one of the funniest episodes I have. I think it's like hilarious. Episode 23 maybe on here. If you want to go check it out, Lil Raw, so funny. Raheem Brown. And no, dude, he's in the casino. Like, he was telling stories. He'll be up $16,000. He'll lose it all, or left one night with like 25. Like then we started getting into like the psychology of it. I'm asking him questions. I'm like, how do you feel in this moment? Like, how do you hide your money? Like, you hide money from yourself. I have my girl. She won't give me the money. Like, it was wild.
So have you ever been gambling or anything like that?
I do not gamble.
Yeah, no, me either.
I've made some wild like business moves before, like skipped a meal for a new microphone type deal.
Yes.
But to me, it's like, I know that I always knew, like with the studio, when I spent so much money on the studio and then like literally didn't have no money, I would say somebody's going to come give me this money back. Right?
You're like justifying it.
If I stick that shit in a machine, I may not get that back.
No.
And that is something that I cannot live with.
And that's kind of me too, because I have that addictive personality to where it's like, I know if I jump into something, like I talk a big game. I'm like, man, I'm going to go in there and I'll put my money in the slot and like I get like 2,500 or $5,000 or whatever. And then I'm packing my bags and I'm walking. But I think if I don't know what would actually happen in that situation. Like if I'm actually there, like would I actually do that? Or am I going to be like, all hyped up, like, well, let's go for 10.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's tough because in that moment you don't know when to leave.
Yeah,
that's the one thing he was telling me.
Especially if you're having fun, like.
See, he thinks the casino's fun. He goes up there, they let him smoke in there, and he drinks, and the drinks are free at some of these places. Yeah, it's just like it's a. Obviously, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they just create an environment that doesn't make you want to leave. Yeah, I mean, it's like on the cruise, dude.
Yeah,
on the cruise, there's folks that stay in the casino most of the cruise.
Yeah,
which is wild to me. You're in the middle of the ocean. It's like the most beautiful stuff you've ever seen.
On an all-inclusive cruise, it's like they got carnival rides on these things.
The thing is, it's the smoking section. And some of these folks, like, I mean, it's just anything to get you to sit in there. And they give away free cruises to people that lose their ass. It's so crazy because it's just like, we were talking to this couple and they were like, oh, is your next cruise going to be free? Did you get any credit? And I was like, no. Why would they give me a free one? And they was like, oh, you must not have been gambling. And I was like, no. I was like, well, how much have you lost? And they were like, oh, well, it ain't been too bad this time. We've lost like 4,500. I could have bought 2 cruises.
4,500.
I would have bought.
We just casually. Yeah, we just threw away 4,500.
Yeah,
I mean,
now they're going to give them a free cruise,
man,
worth $2,000.
Yeah. But we want a cruise.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, what do we have to do to justify this?
Yeah, that's a little wild to me. Let's get to before we go. Let's get to business first.
Okay, I'll start going off on the casino stuff.
Yeah, the casino is wild. You got to get out of there. You got to get out. That's
all right.
Goal.
So hold on one second. The only time I've ever been in a casino, I was in Oklahoma City for an obstacle course race. And I wanted this crazy burger place. Everybody's like, if you're in Oklahoma City, you've got to have this burger place. I can't even remember what the burger place was called. It was a good burger. I just can't remember what it's called. They're like, you have to go. So me and Haley were like looking up, okay, well, where's the closest one? It's like, oh, there's one like right here where we're at, like right at the obstacle course. And we look around and there's a horse track. And so of course in the horse track, like in the whatever, the big facility, there's a casino. Oh, yeah. And so at the bar of the casino, you could order food from this restaurant. So I had to go through there. And I can remember walking through there. And of course, it's like walking through a cloud of smoke. And people are like glued to these machines, like just zoned in. I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, this is kind of
people in the casino environment.
Well, plus it was like noon, right? So it's like,
dude, they don't care. They don't care. You have to kick them out. They don't leave on their own. Yeah. It's wild, bro. Like the smoking section on the cruise. But I'll never get started. The smoking section on the cruise. There was the easiest way to get to dinner, where the big fancy dinner was. The shortcut was to go through the casino. But if I put these nice clothes on, I'm not doing it. So I'm taking I would go like under the casino, around the casino.
Taking the scenic route.
I would do anything to not walk through there and smell like smoke when I get to dinner. It's because but that's how they get you. Anyways, Mr. Chase Livingston. And we ripped for 10 minutes to get her going. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. It's gonna be
fun. I'm pumped to be here. Okay, dude, I got to ask you. I don't even know if you want to get into this, but here we are, November 6th, the day after the election.
Oh my goodness.
You think we ain't got nothing to talk about?
Oh no, there's stuff to do. Let's hold that for 2 seconds. I want to plug your book. Let's
plug that thing.
Let's do that quick. Let's get in there.
What do you want to know?
All right. This is what book is this?
So this is called.
How many have you done?
This is my second book.
Okay, that's what
and I'm going to be honest with you. The first book, trash. The first time you do anything is trash, right? We can talk about this.
The first podcast is trash. The first song is trash.
First video is trash.
Everything.
All the things, right?
Definitely.
My first book, garbage. Yeah. Like I look at it, I still hand them out. Like when I go and do like speaking gigs or whatever it is, like I hand these out. It's like some people say like your book is like your business card. Like it's like an expensive business card, right? Because people can see like your value, what you talk about, find out how to get in contact with you, all that kind of stuff. My first one, awful. Like anytime I hand it out, I'm like kind of like, please don't read this. Like,
really?
There's good stuff in there, but like
I get that because every time I listen to like old music I created back from like, and in those moments, I'm like, dude, this is the toughest thing ever.
Yes,
this is the hardest thing that has ever hit mankind. And if you listen to it 6 months later, you'll be like, oh my God.
But I think that's a good thing, right? If you can't look back on how your life was 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years ago, and you don't cringe a little bit about how you were, that should say something. Like, I think we all need to like be like, dang, I was really cringe 3 months ago or a year ago or whatever. Like, so that shows growth, right? Like, oh man, I'm glad I don't do what I'm doing, what I was doing back then.
You can't be in denial when you suck. You got to realize it.
Well, when I wrote this one, I was in denial. What it was is I was in this like rushy process. Like, man, I got to like establish some sort of credibility. Like I want to be established author. Like I want to have this like name for myself. And what happens is when you rush the process, it's like you get trash, right? And so with this one, it's a funny story. I'm going to go into it if it's cool with you.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm sitting on my back porch, and I want to tell you that through this year, it's been a rough ride. Like, man, like business struggles, business partnership struggles, financial struggles, all the things this year. It's just been heavy, right? And I'm sitting in my backyard in a lawn chair with my shirt off, like get my tan on, and I start praying. I'm like, God, my eyes are closed. I'm like, God, will you give me a bigger, nicer yard? And I'm like thinking about all my financial struggles, and like, I'm like, man, I'm in the hole right now. Like I got all this stuff going on. Like, and here I am, like, God, you give me a bigger house and a nicer yard. And like clear as day, open your eyes and look around what you got. And I open my eyes, I look around. Man, I got grass growing up the fence. I got toys strewn all over the yard.
Same.
I mean, the backyard is atrocious, right? It's just like
Same. Yeah.
And God's like, why would I give you something bigger and better when you can't even take care of this? And I was like, okay, heard. So it like kind of lit a fire under me, right? So I get up and I start like, I'm mowing, I'm getting garbage bags and throwing stuff away. I'm pulling this fence down. I'm pulling up weeds, all this different stuff. And when I started doing that, I started to think back to this time in my life when I got in debt for the very first time. Like I'm talking debt. Like I'm not talking like, yeah, I racked my credit card up $2,000. No, like I had like over $10,000 worth of debt. I was a 2-time college dropout. Been evicted from multiple apartments, had unpaid traffic tickets, all this stuff, right? Racked up all of this like huge debt, like $12,000 worth of debt. And I couldn't get a job. I know, right? That's it. For me as a 22, 23-year-old, I was like, my life is over. And I can remember, it's funny because I go to my grandmother for help. And it's like what the book is about. So anyways, the book is called The Garden of Greatness. And it's about this time whenever I'm in debt, I'm struggling, and I can't get a job anywhere, right? And so I go to my grandmother and I'm like asking her like, hey, I'm hoping she'll write me a check and like get me out of trouble, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna help you get back to ground level, right? I'm gonna let you get squared off so you can have a fresh start. But instead what she does is say, hey, I'm going to let you come work for me in my yard. I'll pay you. I'm gonna keep the money. I'm gonna help you pay these debts off one by one. And together we're gonna make this happen. And I'm like, okay, that's not really what I wanted, but it's like, it's my grandmother. I don't feel like I don't want to disrespect her, right? And be like, I was kind of hoping you just like give me some money. So I'm like, all right, well, like, let's do this. And so I started going to work for her. And I can remember when I'm in my backyard, right? And God kind of convicts me. It's like, hey, go clean your backyard, right? And I always joke now, it's like, be careful when you ask God for something, because rather than giving it to you, he might hand you a rake. Because that's what happened. It's like I had to go to work, right? And what's cool is as I'm doing this, I'm working in my yard, I'm cleaning up. I think back to that time when I go to work for my grandmother and all of the different lessons I learned at that point in my life, all the things that I'm going through, all that different kind of stuff. And I started pulling together these ideas. I'm like, hold up. And so I'm like mowing and I'll like dead stop, pull my phone out, start taking notes. Keep doing my thing. I'm weeding. And I'm like, oh, dang. Stop, pull up my phone, start taking notes. And man, over the next, like, I'll say 2 weeks of me just like completely like transforming this yard, getting it back to where it needed to be, I had an outline of a book.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, there's something here. And so I sat down with my laptop in my backyard with my shirt, I'll get my tan on. And I literally started writing this book. 2 weeks, I had the first manuscript.
Wow.
I mean, it just literally came out, bro. And it's so funny because when you get that first manuscript, the work actually doesn't even start until then. You know what I mean? Because after that, you've got to edit it back down. You've got to refine it. You've got to then start, getting the book cover. You got to start doing the publicity. You got to start doing all of the other things that come along with a book. The crazy thing about a book, especially when you're a self-published author, like I'm not going through like traditional publishing. I'm not hiring an editor. I'm doing all of this stuff on my own. Wow. Not because because I don't want to. It's because I really I'm in a position right now where I can't. Like I'm not going to pay thousands of dollars right now for an editor. And so basically AI has kind of helped me in a lot of ways. Like, hey, I need you to help me, edit this
grammar
piece up, grammar check, all that kind of stuff. And it's just so much quicker. I don't have to wait months and months to get my edited thing back. And so yeah, basically now like we are finally at the place where it's like, it's completely done. It's out of my hands. Cover's done. Now it's just purely publicity. It's marketing and getting ready for the big book launch, which is on November 23rd. So
November 23rd,
The Garden of Greatness will be
out. This should be out by then. Yeah.
Okay,
it's
cool.
only November 6th. Yes. So we should get this out before that.
Okay, awesome. And
Sweet.
so, yeah, you'll be able to get that on Amazon. You just search like The Garden of Greatness, Chase Livingston, and it's going to come up. And it's really cool because the whole concept of the book, I'm going to say this and then we can talk about whatever, right?
Yeah.
But because what I found during this time when I worked for my grandmother is the exact same principles that will help you grow plants, that will help you herd cattle, that will help you in the barn or in the garden or wherever you're at, like regarding this like Southern type vibe, right? The things that you learn in the garden will help you in life,
Right.
you know? And so there's concepts in there like planting seeds of positivity in your mind or planting seeds of success in your mind, right? Pulling up weeds, like problem solving. There's this idea of patience and mastery and grit and hard work and faith and trust and all of these different things that a gardener needs in order to produce a successful crop. And I'm like, I mean, we know those things, right? We know like, you know, hey, you got to be patient. You got to persevere. You got to make sure you water your dreams and you got to do all this stuff. But it's like when you have it like kind of packaged up in a story to like kind of connect these points, it drives it home. It helps you learn it a little bit better. And so it's kind of cool with this book because the part one, the first half of the book is the story, right? That connects you to the principles. And then the second half of the book is the life application. It goes through each principle and shows you how you can apply it to your life, how you can actually use it in a positive way. So I'm really excited about this. Like the first time I finished it and I like started handing out advanced readers copies, it was like 200 pages. I got some feedback from some people who read it and I went back and I started working on it and I thought I was going to cut it down to like 150. No, I added like 260. So it's like, it's going to be a little thick little thing. So I'm like, compared to the first one, I'm really proud of this one.
Sweet. That sounds good. I'm gonna get a copy and put it up here in the background.
Yes, I will have a copy for you.
Yeah.
So
because there's another guy, Derek Murphy wrote a book. I'm about to get at least one of his books. He's got several books. I'm about to start. I want a library of like
bookshelf.
of people that I've interviewed that have books and just like have their book. Also read the book too. How about that?
Yeah, people are like, hey, you should do an audiobook. It's like, yeah, okay, well, I'll have to hire like an old lady to like do my grandmother's voice because that would be really weird if I'm doing it.
Get over here, Chase.
They'd be like, get on over here. You know, it's like, no, I'm not going to do the creepy, weird old lady voice.
Definitely. When you go through the steps of making plants grow and all that stuff, when does the spraying thousands of farmland with pesticide come in? Did that make it on your book?
Yeah, so she's an organic farmer.
Okay,
so
there we go. My bad. I thought this was a regular American farm.
Yeah. We're not doing like acres and acres of soybeans. This is like a cute old lady garden.
Oh man,
this is like maybe an acre worth of garden.
Yeah.
So yeah, no pesticides or soybeans. But maybe there's a part two where
you poison the population.
She introduces me into big ag and
corruption.
Yeah. Hey, you really want to start making some money? Let me show you something.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill off half our people and
oh man, yeah, that could take a turn, couldn't it? Yeah. But no, that sounds great. I like the positivity. I like the good stuff. I can see how you can you definitely could build there's like these principles, right? That everyone needs to really be successful. And it seems like there's a lot of different ways to package these principles.
Yeah.
Like somebody could take your exact principles and they could take a sports angle on it. And you could somebody could write a sports book about the principles you need to be successful.
That's exactly right.
Business or, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy that it's just like you got to find your way to explain like the steps you need.
Well, dude, it's like last time I came on, I was literally talking about this other book I've been working on for like 3 years. You ever have this thing that you're working on, like this project that you're like super passionate about, and then you start telling people about it, and then like people like hyping you up. They're like, "Oh man, that's awesome! Can't wait to see it." And then when you like feel all good about it, and then when you go to do the thing, you're like, "Man, like,
I have an album on here." Like I've been telling people I'm going to drop an album for like 3 years.
Well, bro, and that's how it is with this other book that I've been writing. It's like, man, I want to get this done, and then I start working on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like, there's just so much to it. It's like it drains me. You know what I mean? It's like eventually I've got to just like hammer it out and get it done. But this other one, man, it just like came out.
Some would argue that that almost for not really efficiency, but like to really lean into that creative side that takes to make one, you might, it makes sense to drop the one that's doesn't seem to come out faster, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the one that seems to be the one that's like just escaping out of you, and you just got to write it down before it goes away.
Yes.
That seems like that might be the ticket.
Man, I just straight up like put all those papers on the shelf. I was like, I'm sorry, I got to put you to the side, and I still haven't picked it up. Obviously, I'm not going to for a while. And then I'm like getting all of these new book ideas. But anyways, the other one that I was talking about whenever I first came on here, the whole idea with that was like with my training career and the fitness career thing that I do is the same thing. Success principles that you find in the gym, they apply to your life, right? I mean, like putting in the work, the reps, all that kind of stuff. Like there's so many different things that you can take from, learning in the gym, even recovery, right?
Yeah,
things like,
because I've been messing up on that.
Oh, I think we all do in today's society.
Anytime hey, if you're enjoying this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, if you could take just a few seconds to go hit that subscribe button, it really does help. That'll help notify you when we drop new videos. And we need all the subscribers we can get so we can keep bringing you content every week. Now back to the show. Anytime I'm like on a good run in the gym, I do it too. I go like so hard that I get like sick. It always happens. Why am I not
surprised? Like this sounds just like you.
Yeah, I go like crazy hard in the gym, and then like I feel like I get sick from like overdoing it.
Yeah,
it's very hard to like pull back.
Well, let's talk about that. How's your nutrition? Just play. We don't have to go there. We ain't gonna talk about all that.
I eat off the bad farms.
I mean, no, your nana's big ag garden plants and pesticides killing me.
Yep. No, I eat too many cheeseburgers probably. I'm a big cheeseburger dude.
Nothing wrong with beef. But back to your point, what you're saying as far as, people take sports, and we're talking about these principles. There's actually a part in the book where I talk about that where, my grandmother introduces me to like breeding, like cattle breeding, right? And there's all these different ways that you can breed cattle. You can like handmate. You can do like the embryo transfer. You can do all these different ways to like.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, those high dollar ranches. They do those.
My cows. Hey, I'm letting them figure it out, baby.
Just put them in.
I'll put them in. I'll
put them in a fence, and
I let love do the rest, baby.
Let love do the rest.
Bam, cow business.
But I mean, it's like exactly what you have. Well, with both of your podcasts, really, but even with all the other stuff that you do, is that you've taken a couple of different things and you've bred them together to be what they are. Like the Addicting to Arguing podcast. You've taken podcasting and you've taken arguing and you've melded them together. And now you have this new thing that is hilarious and people love it. Like that is the cool thing that we're seeing happen. And we're seeing it all over the place. Like restaurants do it, right? You get this like crazy Korean barbecue fusion, right?
Yeah,
it's like
restaurants. Yeah,
fusion restaurants is like, wow, this food is not that great, but it's really cool that you're doing it.
I think it's like anything. You just got to put yourself into it. And I think that's one of the main keys of like being able to, unless you're just like a shrewd businessman and just know how to like make business work. There is entrepreneurs of that style, but I think the creative entrepreneur has to do things that like resonate with
There's
them.
That
like,
passion.
Yeah, like that. And that's really how I operate. And that's like the studio. When I stopped liking the studio, there was like the businessman inside of me was like, dude, just keep showing up and hitting the buttons. You know how to do it.
Yeah.
But it's hard. If I don't like it, I don't like it.
Going back to the grandmother garden, big agriculture analogy that we're using here. If you go to a garden, it's an all organic garden, and you pull like an apple off of an apple tree where it's been tended by like, one or two people, and they go out and they like literally pour into this garden every single day. Do you think that apple's going to taste 10 times better than you getting an apple at like Walmart?
Not the big W.
Sorry,
you're right.
Big W.
No, you're 100% right.
It's like the same thing with our business. When there's not that passion, when there's that passion's absent, it's like you take a bite and it's like tastes like an apple, but it's not as sweet.
Yeah,
it's like cool. I'm getting what I paid for, but I feel like something's missing. And then you go and you have that peach off your grandma's tree where it's been growing there for
podcasting.
What?
Podcasting. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is so much more fun.
Yeah.
If only it made money.
It's like, it's like, wow, I can feel like, I can tell Joe's excited about this. Like I can tell he's energetic about this. Like when he was doing the studio stuff, I would go in the studio and I get my music, I get my stuff, and it's good quality work. But with this, like, I can tell he's all in on this. Like I can tell his heart and his passion's in about it. And dude, you can even people who are not listening to your show, they see it. Yeah. And bro, that is like the interesting place that you get is now, how many episodes in are you?
Let's see. This will probably be something like episode 66, maybe.
And you started when?
Basically January.
Huh.
And then,
are you going to break 100 by the year?
Well, between the two shows I have 30. Okay. I think I'm going to run out of time on this show. I have 37 episodes on my other show.
Okay.
So 64, 37, or 66, 37. I'm over 100.
Wow. So now you have established yourself as an authority.
Yeah, people know I'm the podcast guy.
Yeah, you're the podcast guy now. And it's interesting because now that you're at this place, now's when people start listening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so funny how many reps you have to put in before people actually go, oh, okay, hold on. Like you start on the journey, people are clapping. They're like, oh, cool, Joe, go do the thing, man. Awesome. We're here for you, bro. Then it's crickets.
Nothing. Yeah. It's funny, like on both podcasts, the views in the first month of starting both shows were big. Yeah. Like bigger, like, were nice. And then there's this drop off for months and months at a time.
Yes.
And then after a while, like people, I guess, are starting to I guess I'm finding the right people that actually.
I think there's some of that too.
And so eventually people are like, oh, maybe I should check out the show again. Yeah. Like he didn't quit. I secretly think that people assume you're going to quit because people try so many things and quit. And then like with social media, they like publicly quit.
Yep. I'm
never going to be a rapper again. I see that shit all the time. That's funny to me. Like you just publicly quit. Now you look goofy when you come back.
So true. Do you know who Alex Ramosi is? Alex Ramosi. So he's big on like sales, marketing, all that kind of stuff. And I've been like doing a big deep dive on him throughout this year because like I was like, hey, 2024, 2025, like I got to get the sales and marketing thing down. Like, and you can probably relate to this to some degree. It's like, we get in our creative element, right? It's like, hey, I'm writing this book, or hey, I'm creating this awesome workout plan, or I'm working this speech, and I'm gonna go do these cool vision. Like we think this big picture, but then there's all this like nasty, gritty, like the looking at the podcast analytics. How fun is that?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
to me, it's editing
or editing,
making
right?
Thumbnails,
doing all that stuff. There's all this like. That's like what sales and marketing is to me, but it's it's literally the lifeblood of the business, right?
Yeah.
And so like, I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. Like I got to learn this stuff. So I've been listening to Alex Ramosi. He's great. He's a great guy to listen to and he knows his stuff. But the big thing that he says, one of his biggest messages is like, just don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't, most everyone else is going to quit.
I'd say the other one is to start too.
Yeah.
So like if you combine those two things, like
just start, don't quit.
Yeah, for real. I almost hate myself like for not doing it. It's like I should have started this when COVID started. It would have been awesome, dude.
That would have been the perfect time.
Yeah, because everybody would have been in the house. It was the time where podcasts were getting traction. Mm-hmm. If I'd have started in 2020 and didn't quit, imagine if I would be here right now with 4 years worth of episodes.
You'd have 400 podcast episodes, dude.
I even did it a couple times. Like there was 2 different attempts at podcasting before throughout the times. Even if it would have stuck in 2022, it would have been golden for me.
Yeah.
But, just starting, like, because I sat around and thought about it. And I'm damn near ashamed of not starting. Like, dude, just do.
I know.
And then once you do it, then you just got to be ignorant. You got to not quit.
Yeah.
It does not make sense. And that's something that's really this podcast does not make financial sense. It doesn't.
Right.
It does not. Do I think it will? Of course.
Yeah.
Do I have huge plans for it? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to tap into that little bit of delusion.
Yes, you do.
Because everyone else logically is going to look at this shit and quit.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then you beat every logical person out there.
Right. Well, and I think going back to what you said, most people quit is They're doing it for that reason. Oh man, everybody's going to tune into the show. Everyone's going to be listening. And they do for that first month, right? And then they're like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to go back to listening to the other shows I was listening to before, you said you're going to start your show. I'm still subscribed, but and then they're like, well, no one's listening anymore. No one cares. All right, well, we quit. And it's like, okay, so what are we going to do now? It's like, okay, I guess let's start a YouTube channel. Like, let's do the TikTok thing, TikTok shop, go live.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's different. It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
You're at some point you'll have to fight through that cycle where you realize like, okay, I'm going to have to go through this awful period.
Yep.
And like, I'm having fun. I'm having a blast.
Yep.
Now, is it a strain? Of course. Am I taking way too much of my time? Of course. Do I want to be at home with my kids right now? Of course.
Yep.
But
appreciate that, bro.
No, I don't apologize for that. Even if you were offended, I really don't, because like realistically,
it's an investment.
It's an investment. I feel like it's okay for me. I was going to ask you this, and this was actually something I was, because I know you do go travel and you have to go speak in these places. I don't know if you leave for any kind of long periods of time, like being away from family, but like you have to make this agreement in your mind where it's like, this is okay for me to leave my family for this period of time because it has the potential to do this for my family.
Yes.
And so, no, like there's nights, obviously, like, Chase, would you rather me and you talk all night, or would I rather, be tucking my girl into sleep tonight?
Right.
Dude, I'd rather be at the house with her. But
I'm going to pay this small price because I know there's going to be infinite more things that I get to do with her in the future if I'll be faithful to this thing. It's like, 100%. And it's something that like, I have, it's funny you're talking about this because I've had this same conversation with myself about my son and my family. It's like, yeah, man, like next week, I'm going to be gone for 3 days. I'm not going to see my wife and my son for 3 days. And my wife's like big pregnant. She's going to have a baby, like not any day, but pretty soon.
Right.
I could really be soaking up that time with them, like these final few weeks where it's just me and my son, and you got a girl.
It's different.
It's different.
You have a girl on the way?
I have a girl on the way.
Oh my God, your life's going to change.
I know. And that's what I hear. And like last time when people told me my life was going to change when I had a baby, they're like, you know, the cliche stuff. They're like, oh, you're not going to know what you're not going to remember what your life was like before you had them. What was another one that was like, I know, literally. And it's like, I like hear these things. It's like, you're never going to know a love that's as deep as, whenever you see that child for the first time. It's like, you hear these things and you're like, okay, all right. Yeah, I get it. And then you had them.
Yeah.
And you're like, literally the moment that baby comes out, you're like, the first time, right? Your first child, you're like, what did I do? Like, what was my life like before this? Like, it's gone. Like nothing else matters like at all except that child. It is insane. And so, yeah, it's like.
And we used to have peaceful trips to Target.
You remember the Walmart days at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
You remember we could go grocery shopping at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, COVID destroyed our dreams, but it's okay. But no, that's like I sometimes I'll be in a, anywhere really. Anywhere with my kids, and I'll just be like, sometimes I'll drift off in the dream world of when me and my wife used to just walk around unburdened by the, what did Kamala say?
By what had been.
Anyways,
dude, no, seriously, like that
is gone. But you love them. It's like you don't want to go. Right. So like if they said, okay, Joe, we'll give you all your peaceful trips back. You and your wife can go back on all your adventures.
Back to Target by yourselves. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Sometimes you miss it. But no, of course not. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not trading that.
Dude, it's funny because Haley and I, we lived in Austin for almost 2 years before we had our first child. And it's crazy because now we got this 4-year-old. He's about to be 5. And I will think like, we've lived a whole other life together. Like we've lived in a different city together. We had completely different views, different belief systems. Like we lived a completely and it will like come back to me. It's like, oh yeah, we lived that. Like we were completely different people back then. It's just so crazy, man.
Life goes in phases. And I've been big on this for a long time, even before I had kids. But this phase, and I'm sure there'll be some other phase, but this was the most shocking phase like the most separating phase. Like, and I feel like this, if you take your job serious as a parent, I mean, your life has to change. Like,
Yeah.
Now there is some parents out there, and unfortunately that their life may not have changed all that much. We might drop little Susie off at grandma's and go to the Clizzo. I don't. I
mean,
that may happen. I hate that happens. But if you're gonna lock in as a parent, like that phase right there is, I mean, it 100% different. Like, you're not that same person.
Yeah. And that's one of my biggest things. And I'm sure you and some of the people who you've had on the show, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners would resonate with this, is like really moving forward as an intentional parent. Like when I'm with my kid, like I'm really with them. Like, dude, I will fall into like having my phone on me, and like my kid's there playing. He's like, come on, daddy, let's play. And I'm like scrolling. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Like, he's 4 one time. He's 4 one time. There's going to be a time when I'm begging him to come hang out with me, and he's going to be like, nah, daddy, I'm good. Like, I'm going to go kick it with my friends. And I'm like over here scrolling on my phone. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Missing the good stuff. For the bullshit. Excuse my language.
I mean, seriously, scrolling on social, like people just mad. And
yeah. You know, I had Tony Langford on here, the roofing guy.
Yeah, so tell me about him.
Just super successful dude.
Yeah.
That's just got the biggest roofing company around here and in other cities too. It's crazy. You can't tell me you've never seen a Tony Langford sign.
Oh yeah. I know who he is. I don't know him, but I know who he is.
Yeah. So I mean, this dude, but he has 6 boys, and we had 5. He just had another one. He's 45, which is wild.
Yes, it is.
That's wild, Tony, if you're listening. But great guy, dude. But he's like, you can tell he's close with his boys. And his youngest one before this new kid is 16. And he was like, you know, there's a time, you know, there's times where I can text this group chat with all my kids in there, and everybody will reply. And hey, let's go to the movies. Like, and you know, everybody's like, oh, what movie, when, what time, that, bam. And then he's like, there's times just shoot him a text message. None of the kids will respond. And he like, and you know what I'm saying? That's somebody that like, he just sat here and told me like 8 times in one sitting, I love my boys. Like, you know, and then they get to a point one day where they don't even text you back. I'm not ready for that.
I'm not ready for that.
Not ready for that. But it is going to happen. And I think that being in the moment is crazy important. And it's, I don't know, we get tired. And I feel like I make a lot of mistakes as a parent, like just because life wears you down.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that as an excuse, but I do think that plays a part in it, because it's like you come home from work, you're tired. I work outside. I'll be dead sometimes, dude. Come home. And the comfortable thing to do is like just take my mind somewhere else. But when your son is going, hey, put the phone down, Dad.
I know.
Let's play tag. Like, you got to get up and play tag.
Lock in.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. To all the dads, you got to do it. You got to play hide and seek. Your kids suck at hiding. His legs are hanging out. His legs are hanging out, or he laughed when you walked by him. But you got to get up and play. You got to play hide and seek, man. You got to pretend like you can't find him the whole 9 yards.
You know, it goes back to what you said about this time. Like, you know, I left my 4-year-old. He's watching Home Alone. Like, dude, they're already doing the Christmas movie. Our tree's already up.
Like, wild activity.
I know. Yeah. So they're doing that whole thing. And he's like, Daddy, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go do this podcast. And you're like, of course, like I love coming and hanging out with you, dude. You're doing an awesome thing. But like, once again, for me, this is an investment too, because like, once again, you're the podcast guy. Like, I've been on Joe's show twice. Like it's becoming clout for me a little bit too. Like a little selfishly, it's like, I'm going on Joe's show again. Like, I know Joe's going to like share it on Facebook and stuff like that. And it's like, man, it's like, that's where you're going with this thing too, is man, you got Tony Langford on here. Like, you're getting big business players coming on here.
Smith,
and yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's
all of them. Yeah. You know, same Eric Aiken. All of these people.
Is the dog. Matt Fry. Like
all of them, man.
Lots of people, dude.
And so, dude, like what I was actually getting at, what I was going to share earlier is like, this is the new medium. Like, this is the new media, right? When people go to get news, when people go to get information. We don't go to newspapers anymore, like we were talking about. We don't go to, you know, Fox News and CNN. We just don't do that. Like our generation does not do that, and our kids will definitely never do that.
No, they're not going to be. You can't tell me my son is going to be on CNN trying to figure out what's going on. Like,
not when his dad has run a podcast like half of his life. No, he's gonna feel like that's the ultimate betrayal to his dad. Like, I honestly don't like. It's gonna be like Newspapers. Do you get a newspaper at your place?
No. Dude, I can't even. Bro, I don't even know.
Sade's listening to this like, you jerks.
She told me that people still like
like a paper.
Yeah. But she says old people. So
Right. You know, they send this thing out in my neighborhood called a midweek review. And it's like a really thin paper. I think it's the Gazette that's doing this. But anyways, every Wednesday morning I get up and there's a midweek review in my driveway. And it's like a tiny, like a few pages from the paper. I think it's like highlights from the week or something like that. And what do?
I'll throw it away.
I throw it away, man. Like, I don't care. Like, if I want my news, I have my sources that I go to, and guess where they're at? They're online. They're online. Yeah. When I want information, I know what podcasts to listen to, what YouTube videos. And so for me, who's trying to invest in myself, my business, I'm going to make sure that I'm going on those mediums, like on those platforms.
What I hope happens around here, at even just really small scale, but for when people are, when a guy in Texarkana wakes up one day and says, I want to write a book, and then goes through and writes that book, and it's time to put that book out.
Yeah.
Something I like what I see comedians do when it's a special, when their special's about to come out. What do? They hit the circuit.
Yep.
They hit the podcast circuit. They go to Joe.
Why do you think I'm here, bro?
Yeah, you're hitting the circuit. We need a circuit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and this is the new form of stuff. And it's like, I don't want to talk down the radio. I don't want to talk down the paper, none of that stuff. But look, man, I don't want to say, I don't want to.
Do you know?
I don't think I'll word it like this. I don't think that's a winning fight.
Yeah, right. Do you know who Zach Ratliff is?
That sounds super familiar. I feel like I messaged him.
He does 107.1 Talks. He would be someone cool to come have on. He's a great guy, but I went on his show and guess what I talked about? I talked about my book.
Right.
You know, and it's like any opportunity I get, if the Gazette wants to do something, I messaged Sade. I was like, hey, like I have a book coming out. Awesome story. Would love to share it with you. If they want to pick it up, cool. Because there are some people who still do that, right? Yeah. But I'm thinking,
I think I may have misspoke. I think that's radio paper. That still needs to be part of the circuit. But we just need to be creating this deal.
Yes,
where I've got a book coming out, and you need to be on 10 different shows.
Yeah. Well, that's what we saw in the last presidential election cycle, right? When they got the most views and the most hits were when they were going on the different shows.
Look, one of the candidates, let me be careful. I'll just say one of the candidates utilized the podcast scene more than the other.
Yes.
Do I think that played a part? I honestly do. I really think it does.
Well, I don't even know who all went where and who all did what, but I will say Theo Vaughn is freaking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're on his show, it's going to be hilarious and people are going to watch.
The stuff he said, some of the stuff he said to T-Dog was crazy, man.
Hey, think about if you got somebody like that on this show.
Like, oh, yeah. I want to one day.
So who was I talking to about this? Okay, so I have another friend who's doing who does a podcast 4 years in. He's just now getting to his 100th episode. And he's had some, I'm not going to say like massive names come on his show, but some established people, right?
Yeah.
And I told him last time, like, so he just wrapped up his season 4, I believe. And he was like, hey, I want you to like do a takeover of the show, right? You're going to like pretend to be the host and you're going to be like interviewing me about like what I learned over the past season, all that. We're going to talk about all that stuff, right? So I come on, I'm like, what's up, y'all? It's Chase. I hijacked this show. Yeah. And we're going to interview him today. And so I'm like, all right, Noel, tell us what you learned. Like, and we're going through like all of his guests and we're talking about the magic memories he made, all this different stuff, right? We're talking about all the things. And I told him, and I really did feel this way. And I'm not even like just saying this because I'm here with you, but this is something that will happen so long as you're continuing to stay consistent, which we're seeing it. He's just now getting to 100. You're going to break 100 in your first year if you haven't already. So I told him, I said, man.
I needed to boost my ball.
What did you chewing some gum over there?
Just a chocolate, my bad.
Some chocolate?
I'm trying to stay awake. I got you.
You got a bunch of empty chocolate bags over there?
Hey, don't judge me. But you told him?
So, and I need you to hear this too. All you need is one person to hear your show or one person to come on your show, or you go on to one person's show to change your life forever. That's how powerful this medium is.
I think so.
And
I believe
so,
that.
you know, same thing with anything, whether it's book writing, it's speaking, it's audio engineering, whatever it is, right? The more you continue to do it, you establish yourself, you're just being faithful, having a good time, staying committed to it. Eventually somebody's going to see.
Yeah, somebody's going to pick it up.
Somebody's going to see. And at the very least, it opens up a door to a conversation.
Right.
And in that conversation, like you get on somebody else's platform who has thousands, millions of followers.
And plug your own show.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's 100% where I'm getting at. And it's not even like I'm going on there to plug my show. It's just like, no, he's having you on or she's having you or whatever the situation is, right? And you're naturally talking about the nature of it. So where can we find you?
Yeah.
Boom. And it's just like it's going to look like overnight you became an overnight success, right? But really, there's been how long? 4 years, 5 years, the 2 podcasts that never became anything. All of the time you spent in that room recording people, that counts, bro.
Yeah.
That all counts, man. You behind a mic, you in front of a mixer, it is all a part of this. There has been a long evolution leading to this point. And that's one of the things like, do people pay to go on podcasts?
I'm sure it happens. It has to. It has to happen somewhere,
right?
like especially when people have...
Like, hey, I want to go on Joe Rogan's show so I can promote.
He's not going to bring you on for no money.
Right.
But he doesn't need any money, though.
He doesn't.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
There's somebody with a decent amount of clout out there whose financial situation probably isn't the best, and this probably is doing some type of trade. Like, you give me money, I give you clout.
Yeah.
Like some type of arrangement.
You want to buy some social media followers?
Yeah, basically that type of deal. That's kind of grimy. You know, because for me, like in the podcast realm, for me, the way I think you have the best conversations and put on the actual best show is you have to talk to people you want to talk to.
Yep.
So like if you give me money, like because there was people, I was letting people pay me to interview them at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I was also taking that money and buying cameras and stuff to make it better.
Yeah.
And then I stopped doing that. I just stopped doing that because I was like, I got to this point where I was like I didn't do one that I didn't enjoy. And that's not really it. But my heart wasn't there. Like I need to. Not that you couldn't hit me up, but I like to engage it almost like, hey, I want you on my show.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like the act of me saying like, I want you on here. Like because at the end of the day, a good podcast episode is going to be when I get the right person on, like somebody I want to talk to. So like I've had people say, why do you have Emma on here? Why do you have her on the show?
Because it's my show.
Because it's my show and I do what I want. And I ain't got no sponsors and I ain't got none of that shit.
Not yet.
Man. No.
Well, what I was getting at is like, okay, so there's a conference for everything, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is even something that you would be interested in, but I'm just using it as an example. Maybe you create a course. Maybe you do podcast consulting. Maybe you go and you speak at a podcast conference on how you push out 100 episodes in a year.
Yeah.
Right. How does somebody do that? There are people who
spend... Is
spend...
this not common? Like, I know it's not common. Like, I know it's not common.
No,
but like,
it's not
how
common.
Uncommon.
When
like,
I'm going to say probably
really paid attention to like
70% of the podcasts stop producing podcasts within the first month. Whatever the statistic is on that, no, it's not common. What you have done is not common. And so, hey, we want Joe Teel to come speak at our conference and tell our people how they can produce 100 podcast episodes in a year. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I need you to pay me $10,000. It's like, dang, that's really expensive. Yeah, but you're not just getting me for an hour of talking. You're getting all of the years of experience that I've had leading up to this.
Yeah.
Once again, going back to the audio engineering.
Oh, if somebody wants to pay me for some of this, they can have it.
Bro, do you know what world we live in?
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just want to keep my heart pure because I don't want to do any podcasting for money. But I know in the back of my mind that this is something that I think can change like my whole entire life. But
once again, that girl who you're not getting to tuck into bed, this can't be just like in vain, bro.
Right.
And once again, it's good you're keeping your heart pure. But once again, like there's a business element to this.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You know, and especially the hours you have put in, bro, you're going to see a return.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like, that's like someone told me the other day, they were like, aren't you scared somebody's going to like copy you and like pass you. And I was like, bro, good luck.
Good luck.
Bro,
Wish them the best of luck. Here's the thing. If somebody copies you, I got to say this. If somebody wants to try to copy you
good luck.
and they're going to pass you, good luck, because you're going at it in the wrong intention. You're going to burn out so quick because you're coming at it in an unpure way. That's unpure motives.
Yeah.
You cannot stick with something. There's no passion. Nobody's going to listen.
Yeah, and then when people, and then, I don't know, you're going to hit this wall where you do so much work for nothing. And like, it just takes a special kind of stupid, man.
Yep.
And that's what I got. I'm special stupid, baby. And I'm ready.
1.5 hour to 3 hours, 3 times a week. No pay. Actually, it's costing you money.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the,
and it's costing you the special time.
I probably put 25 hours in a week at podcasting.
Yeah.
For nothing. At a loss. It probably cost me, it probably at least cost me $200 a month.
Yeah.
With all the tools and stuff I do, because I'm editing myself. I do it all.
The hosting, everything, right? Yep. But here's the thing. When this thing starts popping off, which it's gonna, you're gonna have to start looking at some other things, man. You're gonna have to really start looking. Bro, it's gonna be so cool to watch it happen too, because I don't know how much Joe Rogan makes, but, and I know he does some other stuff too, right? He does like we don't have to keep, comparing ourselves to him. Like he's like the end all be all. But he's a great role model to look at.
The
right?
number one podcaster.
Bro, that dude is set.
Oh yeah. Well, he's got the UFC and he's got the podcast. Sure. But I mean, it's the biggest podcast in the world.
You scrap the UFC and all the other stuff, the amount of sponsors he has, the fact that he took a crazy deal with Spotify, bro, he's sitting good.
It's like 250 million.
He's sitting good.
Oh yeah. And he's not, and he don't even really ball out all that much. Like he has some nice cars and shit like that. But like I don't know. And like the whole talk to who you want to talk to deal, that's 100% from him.
Yep.
But I mean, I would be an idiot not to listen to this man that has 2,000 plus episodes.
But you've got such a great point at this idea of, hey, I'm going to go at it with a pure heart. That's having values in place. You know what I mean? That way, when you get the Spotify deal or whatever, hey, we're going to pay you this, but here's our line of, you can say, well, does this fall in line with my values? Right?
Yeah, because I'm only going to talk about what I talk about, or this thing will crash and burn. Work. Yeah. I will crash this thing out.
As soon as you do that, you cut the passion out too, and then you're eating the apple from Walmart again.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Nobody wants that stale apple.
Peaches, which sounds terrible. Come here, Granny, and give me your peaches. No,
none of this is in the book. Please, y'all buy the book. We don't talk about grandma's peaches. Like, I promise you.
Grandma's fat peaches, motherfucker.
Oh, gosh, bro. This is not good.
Sorry, that's fine.
So,
how do you come back from that?
Oh, bro. This is what I'll say.
But I'm excited, dude. I think it has to work. Will it? Or who cares?
Or it has to work.
Or it has to work. Like, I don't care if
there's no other option.
If there's no other option. Like, I'm just going to talk to people until other people listen. Like, I'm just going to do it until people listen. They will do it. I feel like they will.
Going back to the Alex Ramosi thing, the one thing he says is like, you keep doing it, eventually the crap that doesn't work falls off.
Right.
Right. As you get better, you're like, you do anything for 25 hours a week, you're going to get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm editing videos. I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
You're doing all kinds of stuff, man. Like, I mean, eventually something's going to start working. Plus, man, it's just like the algorithm too. Yeah. Like the algorithm is going to start to work in your favor where you're constantly posting and sharing these things where people are constantly seeing. Eventually, some of the clips are going to start to, like, they're just going to start to click and they're going to start to pop off. And then next thing you know, it's just like, boom.
I need it.
It will.
But I'm cool.
But there's always a season of testing before that too.
I'm cool with fighting it out. You know, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, one of the funniest podcasts, one of my favorite things to listen to. 400 episodes before I listened to the first one.
Yep.
Joe Rogan had 1,900 episodes before I listened to the first one. There's so many examples of, I find people that have been doing this for years.
Just think of that, 1,900 episodes.
Oh yeah, Rogan.
Before you ever, and what is he on now? Like 20?
It was like 2,500.
Yeah, something crazy.
Him and T-Dog went for 40 million. That shit's crazy. I keep calling him T-Dog because I just don't want that word in the algorithm. Definitely, because will
that pick something up? I guess.
Yeah, sometimes. So we'll just go for
it. Might get blacklisted.
The orange man, the T-Dog. But anyways, to circle back to what we were at, one candidate, Mr. T-Dog, used social media, like not social media, but they did that too, but they used the podcast area specifically.
Yes.
And
it was social as well.
Yeah, but 40 million views on just Joe Rogan, that does something.
Yeah. And within how many, was it 24 hours when it hit that, or was it 2 days or 3 days?
That was after 3 days. But see, all right. So if you want to look something up, don't say the word, but what site do you normally go to? The G word.
Oh, you can't say that either on here?
I don't, anyways.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to come on here and get censored.
No, I'm just...
You can't say that word.
No, I just, for people that have, I don't even want to go that route. But anyways, what am I saying? Anyways, when you looked it up, it wasn't getting shown, even though it was at 40 million views. How's that not? It wasn't trending on this beautiful platform. YouTube, we love you. You're great. But anyways...
We're going to go down that route. We're going to talk about the oligarchs and how they're trying to...
Possibly. But I'm just saying, still, that's a little, but still, 40 million. But what I'm saying is then they put it on X because nobody could get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Because you could search in the exact title and not come up. That's weird. It's got 40 million. How's this not trending? That's a little strange. But anyways, we'll leave that alone. But it goes to X. It gets 87 million. Because that's just even if you listen to 30 seconds,
it's counting
and
it,
people
right?
are, So, I mean, but you're crazy if you don't think there's power in what happened there.
100%.
Yeah. That exposure, you cannot get that. So in 4 years, when it's time to run again, who gives a damn who the candidates are going to be at this point? There's no telling at this. But if you're a campaign manager, the first thing you start thinking about, I think, is
at this point,
how do I get my candidate on a podcast? Well, podcast, the good ones.
I saw something on X that was talking about this whole thing and how they said that the requirements of a presidential candidate have, the standards have now been raised, because if you can't go onto a podcast and talk freely and openly and transparently for 3 hours, we as the American people, we can't trust you now.
Yeah, because it's like Rogan says this all the time. His stuff has been unedited and several hours long for since 2007, which is wild. Everybody kept telling me, edit your podcast. He said, no.
Yep.
I want this person in the room for a long time because they can bullshit me for an hour, but they cannot for 3.
That's so good. I've never heard that, but it's so true.
You can hit talking points for an hour. Even me, I've done, let's say I've done all these episodes. If I go on, let's say I go on your podcast, dude, I can go through this stuff for an hour easy. I can go through my normal responses, things that, conversations have gone.
Well, that's what 90% of the podcasts are,
Yeah.
I'm coming on here. I'm going to talk about my book. I'm going to say the little highlights. I'm going to, and then, all right, thanks for having me, Yeah.
But that's why I say, let's talk about the book. Okay. That was fun. Everybody go get the book. I'm excited about the book. I don't want to downplay the book.
Yeah,
but then
let's
talk. Let's talk to Chase. Let's figure out who Chase is. That takes time.
It's do I actually want to get this guy's book?
This is a good selling point. If people sit here and listen to you talk for a while, they're like, oh, this dude does sound trustworthy. You're not just a dude on the cover of a book.
Yeah.
You're not just your book plug.
Which I would never put my face on the cover of a book. Somebody told me that. They're like, nobody cares about who you are. They only care about what you can do for them. So think about that. When you go to... there's a few anomalies. You go to Barnes & Noble, whatever, go look at the bestsellers lists and see there will be a few, usually they're biographies or autobiographies or memoirs or something like that. You got somebody's face on there. Any book that's actually trying to help you get better, or it's a story or whatever it is, you're not going to see somebody's face on the cover.
That makes sense because somebody that's really trying to help you is not pushing their self.
Well, there are those people.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's people in your industry, 100%, that are there for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. And they're putting their face on the cover and all that stuff too.
Well, yeah, because people are. Here's the thing about what I've seen from people, and so like I think we won't go too far down the rabbit hole, but a recent study into cults has led me into the psychology behind followers, basically.
Okay, let's talk about this.
People. All right, so what's the main ingredient of a good cult?
A good leader, I guess?
Yes, a charismatic leader.
Charismatic leader, okay.
Dude, if you're a charismatic, like I think people underestimate like the power of a charismatic leader.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are charismatic enough, like you can convince people to do anything.
Yeah.
You ever heard of you can't polish a turd? There's a dude out there that would have you looking at a turd so nice and be like, look at the size, look at the measurements, look at the
like, wow,
angles and the indentions.
Yeah.
And you're like, dang,
right.
that probably hurt when it came out.
That is a pretty nice
that is
one.
an awesome turd. Like that can't, like there's a, and it can be used, and I think that can be used in different ways, because being a charismatic leader does not make you bad, right?
Yeah.
You can be a charismatic leader and use your powers. Because sometimes I wonder if it's a power, bro. But we'll get into that. But you can be a charismatic leader has the option to like, actually like, okay, I'm going to write a self-help book that actually helps people and be all about helping people. Or you could be a charismatic leader that says, look, I know the way that I can package this up.
Mm-hmm.
People that want to help themselves are going to give me a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the guy with the same capabilities, or a girl. It doesn't have to be guys. And that's what you know what I'm saying. But while cult leaders tend to be guys, but that's another story.
Yep. Different study.
You can sell anything to anybody almost with the right approach. And I think that is because a lot of people are naturally followers. You can that's just, and so you just get to the crossroads. Once you realize you're somebody that can make things happen, I think you just come to a point, and then it's almost like a battle of good and evil. Like, what do I do with this power? Like, and that's where you get cults. Yeah. That's where you get somebody like, Brother Man, what's his name?
The Waco dude?
Yeah. That's how you get them locked up. What is the dude? Manson. That's how you get them to go murder people, to start a race war that you need to happen because you prophesied there was going to be a race war and it wasn't happening.
Have you heard about the dude who started Bikram yoga? Have you seen that? So you know what Bikram yoga is, right? So it's basically hot yoga.
Okay.
Okay. And so there was this guy named Bikram, I guess, and basically he formed this huge like sex cult. And he basically
had his own like he was in the book I was reading on cults.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he had a whole place. Dude, they got into government.
Yes.
They poisoned the town.
Yes. Wait, am I thinking?
Well, I don't know. The one I'm talking about, this was an Indian guy, and he had his own like ranch.
That might be what's his name?
Yeah, maybe I'm tripping on the hot yoga deal, but maybe that's not him. But
there's another dude. He's like really big on meditation, and I've read some of his stuff, and I'm like, this is really good. And then my wife Haley's like, who's big into like cult like stuff, not big into cult stuff, but she's like, I love being in cults. No, but she's like loves like researching that kind of stuff because it's fascinating, right? And she's like, I was like, yeah, I'm reading this book on meditations by so and so. I can't remember his name, and she's like, oh my gosh, that guy's like a cult leader.
I'm like, dude, that's embarrassing.
I know. And I'm like, wow,
wait a minute.
He's really charismatic. I really like him. I want to meet him. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, that is the power. This dude, so like that Indian guy, I'm sorry, I cannot think of his name, but they have this whole like piece of land and it's in this county. And so like they want to get it. There's some vote that's going against the ranch going in like the mayor, or it may have even been even higher up. And so they poisoned the town. They gave half the town E. coli on voting day.
Oh my gosh.
To try to win the vote so they could keep their cult going. I'm saying to bring all that back.
Oh my goodness.
To bring all that back. Marilyn Manson, he did kill people, but the main ones he's known for, he did not kill them, folks.
Yeah.
He didn't have to physically do the killing, which is crazy.
Right.
It's just, it was somebody so radicalized that they would just go do it.
Mm.
So let's try to be super honest without taking any sides, and let's talk about what an election does. How about that? Does that sound like fun? Does that sound like a scary thing to do? Sounds a little scary. Sounds like maybe not the best move. I'm down to do it if you are.
I mean, we'll see what happens. See if you get canceled or not.
Okay. So here we go. Here's my thoughts on it. I've been wanting to talk. I'm just so scared to talk about shit like this, but whatever. Here we go.
So let me say something, because I wrote something down on that thought.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I struggle with that too. I mean, I don't want to there's one at the end of the day, like, I love everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I hate seeing this stuff. It's like, and you see it on both sides.
Oh, no doubt.
It's like,
that's what I'm gonna get into.
If so-and-so blah, 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 you can unfriend me. It's like, whoa. Hold on a second. I didn't friend you because you're a this or a that.
That is 100% true.
Like, I never became, like, honestly, some of the people saying this, I'm like, I don't know how we became friends. I don't even know you.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember adding you or you adding me, but here we are. So maybe I should. But anyways, this is beside the point. It's not because you're this or that.
I'm going to unfriend you because I don't remember
I don't know you. So, but anyways, this is what I wrote down. Let me hear what you got. Literally hit me like a ton of bricks, like right before I came this way. It says, if you believe in something, but you don't say it out of fear of others not liking you, understand this. They already don't like you.
Right.
They just don't know it yet.
I believe that. I think that comes from like we're saying, go back to followers. People want followers. That's why social media is so popular.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just out here, and it's crazy what it does to us. We just turn into like these little, like, I need followers.
Dude. Did you see this video circulating? It was like a video of like 1990 MTV. I forgot who the singer was, but it was like, you remember what they would do with like spring break, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you see these people like dancing their butts off, like doing the stupidest stuff, like just flailing their bodies, but having the time of their life. And there's no like proximity at all. I mean, people are right up next to each other, just having a blast. And it's like, that is not what our culture looks like today.
No.
Dude, phones have completely they have robbed us of that.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a good thing for some people. That's like, no, I don't want to touch people like that.
Yeah.
But like, seriously, like, there was no need to like gain approval of other people's or try to impress. Like, we were all just being goofy and having fun, man.
Yeah, that shit's over with.
It's over.
So like the election, what I think it does to people is I think that there's, first of all, like, so I posted this long status the other day. I'm bad about that. I try to like write my thoughts down sometimes, and I'll be like, okay, I'll just post it.
Yeah.
People do pay attention to my page a little bit, sometimes more than others, more times than others. But it's so I this deal about unity. I almost want to pull it up because I worded it better, and I feel like, now let me go to my page. My whole point is basically that I think unity, like actual true unity, is a lot harder to actually obtain than what we think. Like, we think about this, it's like a concept. We think, oh, we people say it all the time. It's like super cliche. Well, we just need to unify.
Mm-hmm.
We just need to come together. And I think it's way more complicated. I want to get where, okay, here we go. I've never read a status I posted on a podcast. This is lame as fuck. But here we go. I say unity is complicated because people are complicated.
Mm-hmm.
The more people you add, the more complicated things get. We all have a unique story. We're all drawing our knowledge from different sources. In life, we take in information constantly. How we interpret that information is how we build our worldview. Following this logic, it's easy to see why unity is rare. We are expecting what feels like infinite variables in life and so many different people to lead us to like one belief or one similar belief. It doesn't seem realistic. I believe what we see in our world is a reaction to the challenge of unity. True unity feels unattainable, so we instinctively divide ourselves into groups. This often leads to creating enemies out of those groups who think differently. This is why the world is divided. Division is probably more natural, but I don't think we should give up. If we want better, we may have to go outside of the natural thought process. Disagreeing doesn't necessarily mean that we hate each other. Conversations with varying beliefs don't have to be arguments. We should use kindness, open-mindedness, accountability, and honesty to gain a better understanding with those who view differently than us. True unity might not ever happen. Nonetheless, I believe we all agree it's something worth working towards, right?
Yeah.
So basically, my thought there was that I think people genuinely believe that coming together is it's impossible.
Yeah.
Especially you take something like politics. I think most people are and I think they might be right. I do not think we'll unify on politics.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll unify on religion. I don't think there are certain things that we are not going to unify on.
Yeah.
So like sentences like, we just need to come together and unify.
Right.
This is not natural. It's really how I feel. We go find people that think like us. Once we find those people, those are our people.
Yep.
We are a tribe. I think this is something ancestral. I think this has been passed down maybe in our DNA. Who knows?
Yeah.
Back from when you actually did have a tribe and you and your tribe had to survive, and we didn't like them folks over there because they may mess up how we are surviving in this tribe.
Yeah.
So tribalism. And I think that unity is not natural because tribalism is natural. And so understanding that is I feel like that has to be the first point of actually unifying.
Yeah. Because when you were talking, once again, for whatever it's worth, what do I know? I always want to preface with that, like whatever my opinion is worth. I'm writing a book about, working in my grandma's garden. So whatever I know, you take it with a grain of salt when we're talking about this kind of stuff. But when we look at this even through a biblical perspective, it's like there's always been an opposition.
Right.
There's always been an opposition. And will there ever be a unity where we all, first of all, I don't know if we want that, man, because that would make life so boring.
Yeah.
Story comes from having a good and an evil. Now, who decides what side is which? I think that kind of depends sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to talk about
because
that
some
too.
people are so convinced, especially when we look at politics, that their side is the good side and their side is the bad side, right? And, I think I could be wrong about this because I was young during this time, but I think there could have been a time in American politics, maybe we were a little dumb or blind. Maybe the veil has been lifted a little bit now where we see things a little bit differently. Not to go too conspiracy theory on you, but where even in American politics, we could unify in the sense where we agree to disagree.
Right.
We can come, we can debate, we can shake each other's hands. I disagree with your point. This is why. Well, I disagree with your point. This is why. We shake hands, we part ways, and all is good, right? We had a fair debate. We brought our topics to the front, and maybe we made some ground. Maybe not. Maybe some people felt one way or another. Usually, especially now, all we do when we do that is it drives people further away. People get more convicted in their beliefs, right?
Right.
Which is interesting because it goes into the parable of splitting the what is it? The wheat from the tares.
Wheat from the chaff.
Yes, the wheat from the chaff. We're seeing more of that divide, which I have another crazy theory that kind of goes along with this.
I think people are approaching the political debates from an angle of they're not able to see themselves on the other side.
Yeah.
I think that right there is what they create, and it may be media's fault.
I think it partly is.
And it may be the fact that maybe the candidates shoot at each other now. Like they take shots at each other. Not literally. Well, maybe. But
well,
no,
there was some of that. So
no, I really don't think that was her. I think that was there's probably some other countries that don't want tariffs. But anyways, that's another thing. But if me and you disagree and I cannot see the human in you, and I can't, and if for whatever reason we're pitted against each other in a way that you're, this is not a word, but monsterized. I can't, once I stop looking at you like a human.
Yep.
And so this debate, this election specifically, people were not viewing each other as human. And it's just like, if you believe this, you must be a monster because you follow him.
Yes.
Or if you believe this, you must be a monster because you follow her. It's like,
yeah, we've lost touch with the whole humanity of it all. I mean, at the end of the day, seriously, this is what it comes down to. We all want a better future for ourselves, for our kids, for our families. I think some of us have just different views of what that looks like. And I also think there's an element to, and this is for both sides, that we have convoluted ideas of what each representative or president or whoever it is going to make happen. You know what I mean?
How many Americans believe a lie that one of the candidates told on both sides? Do you think that there isn't an American out there that listens to, that is, even just dabbles to know what's going on? Do you think there is a person out there that doesn't believe something that's false? I think we probably all believe at least one.
Oh, for sure.
One thing that got spun in a way that was a lie.
Well, and it's really easy to do because we have our little echo chambers where we're on that side of TikTok or we're on X, and
I think algorithms play a part in that.
Algorithms 100%.
Once they figure out, they're like, "Oh, the bro's red."
Do you understand that? Like the way these algorithms work now is you don't even have to like, save, send, any of that stuff. If you were on it for 2 or 3 more seconds, it's going to give you more of that. Yeah, content.
They know you looked at it more.
They know you looked at it more. So therefore, there's some content I don't have to engage with it at all, and I get more of it because literally I put my phone down and the screen was rolling on the puppy video. Now I'm getting nothing but puppy videos.
Bro, if AI, if humans, if there was a human doing what AI was doing right now, we would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Dude, if I knew there was some guy named Steve monitoring how long I stay on one post, and Steve decides if I see more dogs or if I see more cats, I would be very wary of Steve. But since Steve isn't Steve, it's Robot Steve.
Have you seen the thing that was talking about how there was one political opponent who apparently did some stuff with Reddit in order to kind of sway some information one way? Did you hear about any of this?
No, but I'm sure it's been done.
Oh, it's 100% done. I mean, as far as
probably both of them.
Well, I was going to say, so the interesting thing is who you refer to as T-Dog.
Trump. I'm just messing around.
He brought from what I read in the book, once again, what do I know? I don't really research a lot of this stuff because at the end of the day, I care about what I'm interested in more than I care about politics. Maybe that's a bad thing because I should probably care a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I had somebody put it to me like this. And it really, it kind of shook me a little bit. This guy who I work with does very well for himself, very successful. And I don't even know how we got on the topic this day. And he said that in 2016, somebody came to him, they're like, "Hey man, what are you going to do? Election's coming up. Aren't you worried?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Come on, man. It's really tight. Aren't you going to pull out on some of your investments, and are you going to shift business this way?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well, what are you going to do, man?" It's like, "This is going to be my best year ever." And he's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah. And next year, it's going to be my best year ever. And the year after that, it's going to be my best year ever because I'm not going to give a political opponent or what's going on in the economy more power over me than I have over myself. I'm not going to hand any of that over to them." He said, "My best year ever comes from my decision." And guess what? He had his best year ever. In 2020, 2021, 2023, 2024. Go ahead.
Let's push.
It's not my story, so I can't really defend it.
Yeah. So let me push back, and maybe not even from my own perspective, but from because when somebody lays out something, what my mind does is the wrong thing and says, "How could we? Let's test this argument."
Yeah.
Maybe from having a whole podcast about arguing, but anyways, when the problem with that, I would say this. Is that I do see how that could work. But there is certain things, and this is why people get so fired up about politics, because there are things out there like nuclear weapons. There are things that are so big scale that if I wake up in the morning and say, "This is going to be my best year ever," it don't matter what's going to happen. If they drop a nuke on your ass, you're not going to do well in the market this year.
Then it doesn't matter at all, right? Anyways.
But there is there's steps down from that.
But then once again, maybe they do drop a nuke. And maybe you lose everything.
Yeah.
And you continue to say, "What? It's going to be my best year ever." maybe it's not in business, but maybe in
Build
your
the
mind
best
and in
hut.
your heart. Hey, maybe that attitude does help you build the best hut.
No, if they drop nukes, we're done. Like,
Well,
one-
absolutely,
yeah,
right?
one nuke is that. From my understanding, one nuke is the whole world is gone. But,
Which is why I said it's not going to matter anyways.
but there's
Nobody's having a good year. Whatever.
I went straight to hyperbole. Let's back it up just a little bit. Let's say a candidate does do something that does completely wreck the deal. I do get.
Once again,
I'm saying,
I
if
think
you're not informed, if
I
you're
think it's
not
not
informed,
necessarily about like having, this is going to be my best financial year ever. I think it's
Yes.
more of I'm not giving
Personal.
over
And I
my
get that.
responsibility. Like, hey, if it gets so bad that like I'm really being affected that bad, I'm going to move to another country. A lot of people said that that's what they're going to do.
They're not gonna fucking go though. Excuse my language, but they're not gonna go. All these people that say I'm gonna, if Trump wins, I'm going to Canada.
You said it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I said it. But what? It's like there still is that, and so like think about the other countries though. Like there's people like, okay, so if I'm in North Korea right now, I'm chilling, right? Probably not. Anyways, I wish I could vote. Isn't it like? Oh, isn't it a slap in their face to just be like, oh, bro, whatever, dude. I don't need to know about this shit. Like, we don't got to vote. Like,
No,
bro,
and
somebody
I don't think it's that at all, right? I don't think it's like a blase don't. Like, I think you still do your part.
you still got to vote. But see, like, if you don't get involved in some way, because this is just
And you should, right?
Right. Because you can't just go in there and be like, oh, cool name, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it's a negligence. Like I'm not going to get involved at all, and I'm gonna live my best life. I think I'm gonna do what I can, but at the end of the day, my responsibility stays the same because I'm gonna have autonomy over my life rather than handing it over to somebody else. And you see this, right? You see the people who it's like, well, if they would have done this while they were in office, if they would have done this, we wouldn't be in this. It's like you could have done so much. It's like, bro, these businesses, while the bad side has been in office, these businesses have raked in more money than ever before. Why? Because while everybody else was complaining, they saw the gap and they moved. It was their best year ever. Walmart, dude, they're revamping all of their stores because in 2020, like call it an oligarch or whatever it is, but they saw a gap and they filled it. They had their best year ever while everybody else was like, I guess we'll close shop.
Yeah, but that's not fair. See, there was
not
political stuff went into that because one side said you got to stay at the house,
right?
And why does Walmart get to stay up? And why is Walmart more important than you?
Well, that's true, and I do agree with that.
So the vote did matter. When you're 3 generations into a restaurant and they tell you have to shut your restaurant down, that vote did matter. You did not have the best year of your life. Your grandpa's
maybe
restaurant.
They should have started a podcast.
Huh?
Maybe they should have started a podcast.
Yeah, they should have. But I mean,
because then by now they'd have been raking it in.
If let's say, like, I had no problem during the COVID times because look, people still had to use the bathroom,
right?
And so as long as you use the bathroom, you need me.
Yeah.
So, but labeling me is essential, which is people want to talk about offensive. People want to talk about, oh, they called me this, I'm offended.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about essential and non-essential. That is offensive.
That is
actually.
Guess who is labeled non-essential?
Yeah.
And my wife.
How did that feel? That's stupid. Like,
but we made a way.
Yeah, and that's your point. I get your point. I'm not saying your point's wrong. I'm gonna have my best year ever. I get it.
Yeah,
it's a mindset.
And 2020 was probably my best year ever.
Dude, I went crazy in 2020. I was going nuts in 2020. They was bringing me the stimmies, and I was raking in other people's stimulus checks. I didn't spend my stimulus checks. I put them right in a savings account.
Yep.
Because it's like I was like I had an idea during peak COVID to team up with a videographer and do a bundle for song, video, all in one. Bring me your stimulus check.
Yeah.
It worked. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, there is a need to know what's going on.
Absolutely.
The problem is,
and I'm not even saying that's like once again not negating it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is, here's what I think is very difficult for humans, for people to do, is to attempt to get informed without getting too invested.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is like a line because like once you really, okay, let's say you just, somebody you trust and you build trust with over time. Let's say whoever you're taking your news from, maybe a couple of sources you take your news from, and you really feel like in your soul they're telling the truth. And they drop some type of truth bomb on you, or what you feel is a truth bomb. And you say, I believe this. And so at that point, you're hooked, right? And maybe it's some crazy thing. They're letting them in the border, like, and it's something that just clicks with you, like that. If that was like to click with me, and it's just like, no, we got to stop this. Like it's like there's no way almost to learn some information that you feel is true and world changing, and not let it like change your world.
And hopefully in a positive way.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think it does the other way. And then we get lied to. And so like these truth bombs, this is why, okay, to go a whole nother direction, but this is my issue with censorship, because like we start talking about, dude, I'm ranting. I'm ranting.
No, you're good. I'm loving it.
But anyways, I'm sweating. But like censorship, who is the deciding factor of what is true? Like,
Right.
it's like, is it whoever is in power at that time?
Yeah.
Because look, you got Mark Zuckerberg that comes out and admits publicly that I was put pressure on by the Biden-Harris administration to do, whatchamacallit, certain censor stuff.
Yeah.
Certain stuff during an important time, during peak COVID, that were censoring things that weren't necessarily not true, but they got censored in that time. And he felt the pressure from that. It's like, okay, that happens. But I'm not saying like, I'm just saying that's dangerous, because now and see, that's the thing about opening the door as a political party. Like if you do some shit that gets a little bit on the edge, and you kind of break a new boundary, maybe you maybe go after your opponent, maybe in a way, but don't. I'm just saying what that does though. Are they right? Are they wrong? I don't know. What that does is open the door for the next side to win, because that's the thing. You're crazy if you think your party's going to keep winning. The system is set up to swing back and forth when people get tired of shit. Because the truth is, they're never satisfied. Yeah, it's always look at the past 4 years. This is some bullshit. Look at this 4 years. This is what we need. Like nobody's ever going to be like. And it's been that way. Yeah, us getting what is 12 years out of 16 years Democrat. This was a little different. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, that was they stayed a little longer than normal because the system is set up to swing. So it's like you open the door. So like, let's say if the Democrats decide to go heavy on censorship, bam, what you do is you open a door for the next party to use your same tactic. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there were some instances where I think I saw something like that. I can't remember exactly what comes to mind, but I think I remember like seeing some policies that somebody put in that's like, now it's like you're seeing it get used against them in a way. And it's like kind of funny. And I can't remember what it was that I saw. So, but anyways, yeah, 100%. You know,
who gets to pick truth?
Right. You know, and that's why and I think a lot of people are, I would think most people are more towards the free speech, because the truth is if you allow discourse to happen, the majority of people are going to start to see as discourse happens, as conversations happen, okay, well, this is a faulty argument. Like it's clearly this, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Right. Yeah, but there's crazies out there. But if you stop all the crazies, you stop all the conversations. Yeah. And what a crazy person needs to hear the conversations. They have to be challenged. If I'm crazy and have all these crazy ideas and nobody says, Joe, that's crazy, then I'll just walk around thinking crazy is right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you listen to, so look, I'll say, if you listen to, like Elon Musk went on Rogan to talk, and they talked like 30 minutes on free speech, all this stuff. What he's done, taking Twitter, turning it to X, what that did, I do really in my soul believe that was pivotal, because one side, and I'm not even like, I'm not no Republican. Right? I'm really
we hear you loud and clear, buddy.
I'm more in the center. But no, when I say like, when I start, okay, like because how politicized.
You've been forced to.
Yeah, okay. They're going to say, oh, well, Joe's over on this is the right-wing podcast.
He's a right-wing extremist.
Because like Joe Rogan's been a Democrat all these years, but now he just endorsed Trump this one time.
So many have.
They're going to call him right-wing forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he endorses the next Democrat, they're going to call, like, he'll get labeled that forever. Right wing, left wing. It's all labels. It's all stupid.
It's all labels.
It's all stupid. But it's like, what he was saying is if one side, because there has to be balance, if one side has control of all of the media, that is bad. And that's not just a Democrat Republican thing. Like, if the Republicans have all social media where they have control of what gets said, that's bad. That's how you get. That's how you get to some of the places. Some
that's
of these
how you
other
get
countries
1984 type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I think him buying Twitter and making it go, like, he loses money on X.
Yeah.
So it's like him opening that door is like, okay, like, and then like it's I think dumb people should be allowed to talk. Stupid people should be allowed to talk. I think, and this, fuck, they might crucify me for this. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, I'm ranting on.
Dude, you're good. I'm loving it. I got something here in a second.
I think that even what someone consider hate speech, I still think that shit is covered in the First Amendment.
It is. It 100% is. I'm reminded of a story in the Bible. You know, try to tie it back to the Bible.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, sorry.
So, no, it's good because it's super relevant because I think it's in the book of Acts. But anyways, these people are building this church and it's like they're using Jesus's name, but I think they're like doing some like dirty stuff in there. I can't remember exactly how the story goes. But anyways, they're like, what do we do? Like, should we go tear this thing down? And like, we don't know if they're actually good, if they're against Christ. Like, we don't know what this is. And this guy says, hey, if it's from God, it'll stand. If it's not, it's going to get torn down. And I think that's exactly how free speech works. It's like, if it's good, if it stand, if it's truth, then it will stand. And if it's garbage, if it's just crap that people are eventually going to realize, okay, this is crap, completely discard this. This was the truth all along. But if we can't, like, if we've got these people way up here, the higher ups, the elites deciding what is truth, the discourse, the connection, the conversation gets taken out. Like, come on. Like, they think we're stupid.
Yeah.
You're not going to make those decisions for us.
Yeah.
Let us have the conversations. Yes, let's be real. Social media has added a completely new dynamic because now we're conversating with people who, for the most part, probably aren't even real. That's what I was actually getting to.
Bots. Yeah.
Those are 100% bots who have been programmed to give you a stapled like response, right? Usually it's one-sided and you think you're talking to a real person. You're not.
Yeah.
Which leads me to ask you, totally off topic, have you heard of the dead internet theory? Have you talked about that on the show?
No. What is that? That sounds like fun though.
You love AI, so this will be a fun one to talk about. So AI, growing, expanding, emerging like crazy. We're talking about bots. And I don't know, once again, I'm not saying that this is like a true thing. I heard this on TikTok. So there's my source. Right? It's got to be true, right? I mean, that's where everybody else got their political beliefs over the last year. So let's just run with that. So, but anyways, the dead internet theory talks about AI, how it's growing, it's emerging. By the year 2026, apparently 96%, if I'm getting that right, of the internet will be AI. 96% of the internet will be AI by 2026. Something like that. It's 90 something, right? 91, 96, 99, whatever it is. Because every single day, thousands upon millions of bots are being created that nobody has a passcode to, nobody has human access to, they can't stop it, they can't change it. And so what happens are these bots are going out and you have these artificial intelligence things being created within the internet. And what happens is the bot starts to interact with the AI and affirm it as good. And then you start getting these positive, really they're negative feedback loops within the AI where it's like the AI throws out this garbage image, but the bots are like, yeah, that's so good. That's awesome, yeah. Amen. Amen. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. It's like, no, that's a garbage image. But the AI is feeding this machine, right? So then it boosts it up in the algorithm. So the next thing you know,
it can make it go viral itself.
It's going to make itself go viral, and it's a garbage image. You know, and you've probably seen this happen. It's like where the AI is doing like these messed up, weird images, but it's like still like popping up in your feed.
Yeah,
bro. There's this one guy who. He's like really big on Instagram.
I thought about this. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's really big on Instagram. And every time I go there, he's like saying some like some cliche thing. He's like, God says that your next season's going to be the year that you, or the season that you make $1 million. And all of these comments, I'm talking thousands of comments. Amen. Hands up emoji. Like, amen. Amen. I'm like, it can't be everybody's season they about to get $1 million.
Ain't enough $1 million.
All these amens. It's like, if you follow that, then like you're gonna see like a lot of these accounts
I've got
are
to quit
fake.
commenting amen. Get real bot-like over here. Bot behavior.
I want to report this account.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so if this is happening and we're seeing this happen, then by the time 2026 rolls around, you're going to get on the internet and you're not going to be able to do anything because you're doing nothing but interacting with AI. You're going to post something, it's going to get lost. AI is going to eat it up.
I mean, you just think of how easy it would be. Like if AI kind of like, can AI right now go do something that we didn't tell it to do? I guess that's my question. I know they're working towards it to do that. But at this moment,
did you see the We Robot stuff that Musk put out?
The Optimus robots?
Yeah, I think it's called We Robot.
Okay,
it literally looks
Optimus.
like It looks like the iRobots.
Yeah.
I think he called it We Robot.
I think it's called Optimus.
It may
I've been
be,
saying it
but
wrong, maybe. But no, that's crazy. Yeah, I've seen them. That's crazy.
it's like, did we literally just call them We Robot? Like, what are we trying to do?
Does it do things yet that aren't prompted?
I don't know.
All the
I
AI
haven't looked
apps
into all
are
of it.
prompts, right? You tell AI what you want, it does it.
Yeah.
Is AI doing things without prompts? That's a question I need to figure out.
Well, I mean,
because
the
if
thing
it is, then how easy is it to go make a Facebook profile? What do you need for a Facebook profile? 2 forms of that, confirm your email.
Yeah.
Could make unlimited emails. Like, if you could
that's what I'm
make
saying. These bot accounts are being like produced. Like, you've seen the bot farms, right?
Do you think that there will be a swing away from technology once it gets to like, or people are going to be like, bro, let's go hike and like, or.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, we're seeing that. And I think there definitely will be more of that. But I mean, technology obviously is like here to stay. What I think we need to see more of, and hopefully we do, is more of, and hopefully this isn't once again, we're going back into like censorship, bureaucratic realm, but like an AI ethics committee, where we decide, okay, how far
there is one.
There, I hope there is, and I hope they're making good, positive decisions on this to where they don't destroy humanity in the next 5 years.
Dude, that's on the table, bro. That is on the
100%.
table. You know what Xi Jinping said, the president of China? He said the person who masters AI first will dominate the world.
Interesting. So we're no longer in the space race; we're in the AI race.
Yeah, but they haven't gave up on space neither.
Well, I mean, yeah,
they say Elon owns most of space, which is wild too.
Owns most of this what?
Outside of Earth, like the lower Earth orbit.
Owns it?
By controlling satellites and their paths and stuff like that. Like,
how much money?
Well, I mean, he's a billionaire, like a well-off billionaire. I do get worried because some people are like, dude, he's got to be evil. He has all this money. But then like he says stuff that makes sense sometimes. And like I listen to him talk on Rogan for hours and hours. It's like, but like, he does seem like this nerdy dude for hours. He's just chilling.
I want to believe he's a good guy, but I'm not going to forget the fact that he wants to put chips in people's brains, and I'm not cool with that. Like, you go first, bro.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're on a podcast. We're having fun. We're chilling. Let's talk about the chips in the brain. You know that they had the first guy come out of there successfully that could move a mouse with his brain, essentially.
I don't want that. I can use my hands.
Yeah, but you can walk.
I don't want to have anything to where somebody has control. Could have control.
Right. But if you were paralyzed your whole life and you got picked.
Well, if I'm paralyzed and I got nothing to lose.
Yeah, if you're bro, do you say no when you're that guy?
If I'm that guy, I got nothing to lose.
Ethically, you're almost making it seem like it's a moral thing. Like, no, we don't put stuff in our head. That's bad. But then at the same time, it's like,
you're right. You're right.
Is it not bad for him when all he wants to do is to be able to not be?
Well, you're right. You bring in the morals and the ethics into it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I pitched this the other day on the other podcast, and I was like, if you're at work, let's say there's 25 people. I'll just say the exact same thing I said the other night. Who cares? It's on the other channel. It's 25 people. You're included. 24 people get chips in their brains that make them more efficient, that make them, it's almost like faster than I can Google it, I could get the information that I need right there.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
And it's like you're saying, okay, I need AI to help me formulate this sentence so it sounds best. You know what I'm saying? Just if you had access to something that enhanced your brain and made you more efficient. Let's say everybody in the office is 1,000 times more efficient than you. You're the only guy there.
I guess that turns me into the guy who's just going to be like the Amish guy who just like goes and gets a farm.
You're going to be dumb compared to everybody else in that sense. But like, but I don't know. So naturally, when we start thinking about chips and brains, this is where you got to come from this. You got to think about this. Like, have you ever seen Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Damn, bro. What,
Cyberpunk.
That's where they start doing stuff. It's like based in the future. It's like dystopian.
Okay, I was thinking SLC Punk. You remember that movie?
No.
With Matthew Lillard. I think it's like about drugs and stuff. I can't even remember.
No,
but anyways, okay. So
people upgrading themselves.
Okay.
They're upgrading themselves. And so like, okay, a guy has no legs, right? He can go get those deals, the little flopper deals. I'm sorry, I'm butchering that. I don't know what they're called, but you've seen them. They run races. There's people that's faster than normal-legged people with those deals, right?
What are they?
The guy, remember Cat Williams said, poor little tink tink. I don't know if you remember that far.
I remember that, but I didn't know what the reference was.
the little scoot deals that attach to your legs so people can run.
For amputees?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So that same guy in 20 years is going to be able to get his legs redone, like robotically. Is it wrong? Okay, so now, let's take a moral standpoint. This is the problem with having moral arguments, because a lot of times the farther you take them, it's like you can push a moral argument to a point where it hits a wall. A guy, let's say I just want to jump higher. A guy has no legs. He just wants to be able to move again. Technically, we're both just wanting an enhancement from our regular life. He probably needs it more, but like, if I say adding body parts is wrong, because you shouldn't just go add new legs on this man so he could jump higher.
Yeah.
Right.
You think this is where we're headed?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, bro. If you told me tomorrow I could get an arm that ain't going to miss a basketball shot, no, I probably wouldn't do it. But still, it would be very enticing.
Well, some people would do it because you see people who get like the bicep implants or the butt implants or the lip implants or whatever, right? It's like, is this like preconditioning us and as a culture to like go ahead and be more accepting of these like bodily enhancements?
Dude, people are going to have robot legs, bro. People are going to have robot arms. But what point do you just turn into a robot? Joe Rogan thinks that we're going to fucking turn into... I hate when I say the F word when I got you here because I know... But anyways, if you're...
It's your show, bro.
Yeah,
it's your show.
He thinks that we're going to integrate, bro, which is wild.
It's wild. And it could be a plausible future.
He thinks that...
I mean, technically... Haven't we already seen them experimenting with this type of stuff anyways? Yeah.
No doubt. But I'm just saying that here's it's like there's going to be a way that they package all this stuff that sounds so nice and neat. Self-driving cars. Think about all the lives we're going to save. Right?
Yeah.
But if the CIA...
Are we going into Wall-E? You remember Wall-E?
Oh, yeah. I talked about Wall-E with the historian guy I had on here that way. Crazy. Bro, it's like self-driving cars, right? Like... Imagine all the accidents we have. Imagine all the lives we save. If there was another scenario where you'd say you'd save 100,000 people a year, I don't know what car accidents is. I feel like it's more than that. But you would say, let's say there's something we did every day. Like, let's say millions of people ate peanut butter every day, but it was responsible for 200,000 deaths a year. We would say, hey, bro, stop eating peanut butter.
Yeah, we gotta cut out the peanut butter.
Okay, so like, millions of people drive, right? Billions of people drive, actually. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of deaths every year. Following that logic, you would say, hey, stop driving. What can we do? Let's get a self-driving car that once we get them dialed in, we'll definitely start going back on the accident rates. Now, it'd probably be janky at the beginning. Somebody's going to die in a self-driving car. It's going to happen. Sorry. That's just what it's going to be. But they say in the long run, hey, you want to get around, we'll take you around. It'll be safer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they package it.
I mean, that sounds nice to me.
Yeah. But you get to a point where you go on the internet and you say something crazy, maybe in a time where censorship is hardcore or something, and the CIA decides you're a problem.
That's right, I am a problem.
You're a problem. I'm going to wrap this self-driving car around a tree with you in it.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about the chip in the brain thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, robot butlers.
It's like, okay, this guy's gonna, he wants to, whatever he wants to do, whatever the thing is.
Hack a
It's
chip
like, let's just turn him off for a few days. Let's just turn him off.
Yeah.
Like, let's let him go crazy for, I mean, if we got our, we joke about my FBI agent who's like tracking our socials, it's like we joke about that.
What up, Chad?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's probably, if we're like, theorizing this hyperbolic reality, which I think is probably more real than
it's going to happen.
How many generations away from this do you think we are?
Not far.
Would your kids see it? I say you're our kids.
I said we'll see it.
I feel like saying would our kids see it? It's like, we don't have any kids together, bro. What are you talking about?
We could though. No plan. It's a new world, bro.
What kind of show is this?
I read the book the other day. I saw it on the deal. It says my pregnant dad or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, my fault. Don't derail this stuff. You can't tell me what anyways, I'm crazy, dude. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how many generations are we away from.
No, it's not far. I really am. I'd say me and you will see this stuff.
So maybe we'll be like the grumpy old man is like, I'm not putting that crap in my brain.
There's no doubt. I hate rap music right now, bro. Like, I'm old. Like.
What, are you talking about the rap that's coming out today?
Yeah,
or
that shit's ass. Like, I don't want to hear that. But like, if I was 16 right now, it would be the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
The problem is we're talking about a robot that might kill you and a song that might influence you.
Have you seen the the TikToks? It's like a guy, like a dude our age, and he's like with his kids. His kids are like probably like 13 or 14 or something. He's like, yeah, Dad, I'm listening to like some old school rap. He's like, oh yeah, you listen to like some Tupac? Some Tupac? He's like, no, I'm listening to T.I. It's like, oh God, is that old school hip hop now?
Yeah, it's coming, dude. It's coming for us all. But I definitely think we'll be the old guys. But I mean, it's the same way. But like, and I think it'll be like how old people are on cell phones now.
Yeah,
dude. You ever catch an old person in the wild with a cell phone? Like they're on reels. They might stare at them. I saw this older couple. They were in their 70s. They had to be. They sat down for lunch, and so I eat lunch by myself a lot because I'm by myself a lot.
Yeah,
I work by myself, and so I go to restaurants by myself all the time. That freaks people out sometimes, but I'm so chill with that. I can just go. I people watch. These people sat down. They ordered. They did not speak to each other,
and they sat there on their phones.
They watched.
Man, I saw that the other day.
They watch reels. I see that with kids. I get that.
You're seeing it with kids.
But when you see the 70-year-old couple.
Bro, and I put that in my book. Like, hey, social media is no longer this thing where it's like, this is the cool thing the kids are doing. It's like, no, we are seeing, Gen X, baby boomers, who are spending multiple hours. Like our kids are on our phones too much. It's like our adults are on their phones way too much these days. And I'm not meaning like searching the web. No, on social media, soaking up hours of content. Dude, TikTok, which was originally for like dancing teenagers, dancing 14-year-olds. It's like old people now. Not old people, but like,
people are doing
35 up. It's like, people on there talking, doing the things like crazy.
They're going live on TikTok is wild. There's people that spend multiple hours, but you can get paid. People will send you money.
You know what? You should do a live every time you do your.
I thought about that. I thought about setting up. I would have said something outside the guidelines already. They would have
probably would have. Yeah.
I've done it before. I've never made it through an episode without getting the guidelines, bro. It's like I'm coming to think that maybe the way my brain functions doesn't line up with any community guidelines. So I'm like destined to.
You probably put it on X. It's like Wild Wild West there.
Yeah, I think I'm on X to see things, but I haven't dabbled in like posting on X. I probably should.
So whenever I do, like that little one-liner I shared with you earlier, like the whole, they already don't like you. You just don't know it yet, or they don't know it yet, or whatever. Like those are the types of things that I will like post on there. Like nobody ever sees it. It's almost like where I'll go to like share my own like ideas or thoughts or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's condensed though. Like, well, they have it now where you can post paragraphs too. I don't like the short stuff. I don't get the full picture. I can't convey the picture. I hate editing down what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But it is important. I mean, I like
that's what somebody told me. They were like, if like it becomes a skill of being able to take a complex idea and narrow it down into 60 seconds or 45 seconds or something like that. Like you really get to the core of what you're trying to say. And sometimes that takes like right now we're free flowing, right? We're talking, we're going deep. But I mean, if you were to like, actually, okay, like I've got this idea, I've got this concept. I've really got to get this out. I'm going to sit down with this idea and I'm going to cut the fat. I'm going to get exactly what people need to hear. And that's what I'm going to share. It's like, that's a skill.
Yeah. It's tough because I want to say what I want to say.
So let's get back to to merging with the zombie AI robots.
Okay, yeah. So I think my whole argument is that it'll be packaged to us in the beginning in a way that makes sense. And I think that we'll gradually get more used to it. What did our teachers used to say? You won't have a calculator in your pocket. It's like, yes, bitch, I do. I take it everywhere I go. Yeah. I never without a calculator.
I think we need to go back and we need to address that. Hey, you guys remember what y'all said? Let's talk about that.
But see, like we never dreamed we would carry around this supercomputer in our pocket, dude. It's been gradual. Somebody said, do you think that we've had the technology we have for a while? Yes, probably. But the way they've gave it to us in steps.
Yep. It's a slow drip.
Is like, I didn't go from an iPhone 1 to a 14. I didn't go from a Samsung, like some random numbers to like a 24 plus Ultra.
Yeah.
Like, they've given it so it meant like it's genius. If they had this stuff before and didn't give it to us, genius. Because because if they would have gave us like in 2005,
we wouldn't know what to do.
Dude, we would have crashed.
Our brains would have blown up. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the way they gave it to us in increments is we've gotten used to it. And I think that's how they'll sell these things that we may just walk right off a cliff. Because I think a lot of people that accidentally walk off a cliff, they don't know a cliff's there. They don't go, hey, that's a cliff over there. Let's take off sprinting towards it. Yeah. You just ease towards it. And then you slip and go, oh, damn, I'm off a cliff.
These conversations may actually be really important because, once again, talking about these kinds of things, bringing awareness to it, right? Talking about these things, getting people thinking about, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. It causes to when that time comes, you can actually think proactively like, oh, are they trying to slot this in?
Yeah.
It's almost like you remember they were pushing the cashless stuff in 2020?
Yeah.
And
which I hope they do not do.
I mean, I do too, which is kind of ironic because I use my card everywhere I go.
Even still.
Huh?
Still, I need to be that. I need that cash to be sneaky.
Cash is king, baby. Yeah, cash is king. But it's like, they just try to like slide that on in. It's like, well, we're just doing cashless now. And what happened is there's a lot of places where people were like, no.
We don't go there. Yeah.
We're not doing that. Like, I don't know if you saw the video of the old dude. He's like, here's my money. I'm not paying you anything else. You can take that. I'm taking my strawberries, the old dude. Taking my strawberries and I'm getting out of here. Left money right there. Hey, guess what they did?
Putting your strawberries on a table sometimes. You have to prove a point.
Bro, he's like, I needed one thing. I needed my strawberries.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving without them and I'm not paying with a card. But I mean, I think that's like, with this stuff too, having these conversations, because if you don't have them, you're walking right off a cliff, right?
Yeah.
But and once again, is it going to be one of those things where it's like a my body, my choice type thing? Like you can take it, or you can take it. You can take the chip in your brain, and you can merge with cyborg reality, and get super smart and all that kind of cool stuff. Or you can get left behind and just not be cool. And, you're going to miss out on the new social media platforms, and you're also not going to be able to buy anything. Like, do you get phased out like that? Or is it like, no, where we go one, we go all? Like, I'm standing up for this.
They would have, I feel like, so like, okay, so here's the thing. The importance of keeping things like free speech and keeping our country like more free than other countries is because if Kim Jong-un woke up tomorrow and said, you motherfucker, excuse my language, you folks are getting a chip in your brain or you die.
Yeah.
They will do that. North Korea will have chips in their brain if Kim Jong-un woke up one morning and was like, yo, get the chips. This is the importance of somewhat knowing what's going on and doing every bit of little deed that you can to try to because it's like you need we need to stay free more than ever, right? Because the stuff coming down the pipeline.
Have you seen how many people across the world were like watching what was taking place last night? Last night.
Oh, well, they're counting them? Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like literally, and I don't mean like not necessarily like through the night, but like election day. Like all over the world, people were watching this American election because it's like, this is it, bro.
It kind of sets the prison. Because I mean, you know that there's people around the world getting arrested for Facebook statuses. Dude, there's comedians. Some comedians in Ireland.
Dude, if we take away our comedians, our culture is gone.
We cannot do it.
Our culture is gone. Which I don't even watch comedians really anymore, except Nate Bargatze. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, very funny.
He's hilarious.
He had one of the funniest. I'm pretty sure it was one of the funniest sketches on SNL I've ever seen in my life.
George Washington.
That was so funny. Like they talk
so smart
in meters. We're gonna use yards. It's like,
what will that mean for the African Americans? He's like, dude, funny.
That dude's hilarious.
So funny.
We can't lose them. We can't. No. And you can't. You just can't do it. It's like, so like how tapped into you with like the Tony Hinchcliffe thing that happened at the rally,
MSG rally. Yeah,
that's wild. Tony, I'll say this about Tony. Do I think Tony's racist? No. If I watch Tony week in and week out, I watch his show. He's changed so many lives. In fact, there's some white person out there upset with Tony Hinchcliffe right now that has done not even fractionally comparison for people of color in any aspect. All they've done is just reported news in a way that felt inclusive. Calling somebody that's literally changed people's lives racist because of a comedy act. So the joke, bad taste, bad environment. But if he said that same joke in a comedy club with Puerto Ricans in there, a lot of them would have laughed, right?
Yeah.
Because so I think it was, the setting was wrong. He's a roast comedian. Let's not put him in anything election-wise. I do feel like that was a misstep on their campaign. Hell.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean,
I think it's also probably because he was, I don't know how outspoken of a supporter he was, but he was a supporter clearly, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. He'd be talking crazy on his show. Like, do you watch Kill Tony? Have you ever seen Kill Tony? It's a little
but I mean, I'm familiar with him and stuff, but no, what was I going to say on him? It was really interesting because, you know, we're seeing this happen and it's not funny, right? This was an out of color. This was off color. This was, this was out of taste. You shouldn't have done this. But what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks before that when he was on the
Tom Brady roast?
Yes, the Tom Brady roast.
He literally,
it was hilarious, man.
It's just the wrong place.
And so, but it's funny because what's also interesting about that is when he made that joke, people were like, Puerto Ricans and garbage, and they started searching it, and they started to see just how big of a trash problem there is in Puerto Rico.
There's an actual issue.
There's an actual issue there, and it shed light on that. So it was a joke, but it actually shed light on a real issue that's going on there that Puerto Ricans are dealing with, and it's like, can we talk about this now? Like,
no, they won't. It's just like, it's how the media portrays things, and I think that the thing about Trump, one thing about Trump is that he brings a lot of the fire that gets thrown on him, right? He shows up to it. He's the type of guy that dips himself in gas, walks, like grabs a torch, puts it on his chest and looks around and goes like, what the fuck? Like, why am I burning right now? He does bring a lot of that stuff to him. Because it's
you saying, like, he says some dumb stuff,
he says a lot of stuff that's wild, and it inevitably plays out. And if I'm talking too long, just let me know. But it plays out how it plays out, and I think and especially as a guy like that, with like military background stuff, like sports background. I'm used to the bros. We do not talk nice to each other. Yeah. So like I zone out a lot of the wild stuff he says. Like he's like, oh, she's a pig. And it's like, it's almost like they say it's his rhetoric or whatever. I don't, and maybe this is wrong with me. I don't even process this stuff because it's just
once again, it goes back to the Tony Hinchcliffe thing. Because whenever he did what he usually does at the Tom Brady roast, it's fine.
Fine. Yeah.
When Trump was talking this way on The Apprentice,
it was fine.
No one had an issue with it.
Yeah.
Now we get in American politics, it's a problem, you know? And so
I get it. It's just it's like the negatives of Trump is he does have this energy that carries him, and then I think he's influenced a lot of other politicians to get into firing back. Where if you watch like Obama and Mitch McConnell in their debate, I think that was 2012, possibly. Yeah, I believe that was 2012.
Mitt Romney? Is that who it was?
Mitt Romney. Yeah. I said Mitch McConnell. That's a different deal. My bad.
The turtle?
Yeah,
the turtle dude?
Yeah, not him. No, yeah, my fault. Yeah, thank you. Mitt Romney. These were two guys with opposing deals that got up on there and like respected each other. And it was like, okay,
Right,
here's your point.
Shake, yeah.
They shook hands.
That's exactly
they
what I was
laughed.
talking about earlier.
The new politician wave, and this could be from Trump. There's a lot of people that are crazy about Trump, but like he is funny. He is like a comedian.
Yeah.
He has
I don't
like
think
even Rogan
anybody
says
could do what he does, though.
but I think he's encouraged people that aren't good at firing back. Like he has like a comedic firing back type way. And like you have some journalists editing on this and it's their job to like fire back. We're activists.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let Trump get away with this. And the way they fire back is just not, it doesn't have like the same flavor, you know?
Right.
And so it just turns into
False flag.
everything's just a bloodbath, you know? and both sides are, and like if they hit us, we hit them back. And I don't know. But
that's why I hate election years.
yeah, this is wild, bro. And I cannot wait to quit talking about it.
I know. I'm sorry I brought it up.
No. This was fun. To tie it all in, we probably should quit talking. But I really do think that elections show how complicated we are and how complicated unity is. And even if we should even want it, like you were saying, that maybe we shouldn't even want complete unity because that's weird. So
yeah, I think there needs to be a dichotomy. But I think once again, at the end of the day,
but we could be
I think
more
where the
unified.
unity comes in is
This podcast is brought to you by Teel's Septic Service. Teel's, yes, that's right. It's in my name. It's our family business, and it's been family owned and operated since the 1950s. Do a little math. That's 70 years we've been taking care of this area. So for your septic needs, call 903-794-4732. Now back to the show.
it's almost like the whether you agree with it or not, the RFK and the Trump thing come together. Hey, we don't agree on everything, but we want to see a better country. So we're going to come together and we're going to do our best to try to make that happen. You know, it's like an agree to disagree kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's big.
So that is big. I think that's when progress gets made.
I hope they go through with the Make America Healthy again.
Me too.
I'm more excited about that than
anything.
A lot of the stuff. Dude, if they'll take this bad shit out of our food.
You're looking at a completely different world.
If we get control, like some control over the FDA and like, dude, I listened to, there was these guys, this brother and sister that are really big into it. They went in front of Congress. They've set up this whole panel. It's really the start of the whole let's make America healthy again, which is way cooler than MAGA, in my opinion. It really is. Like the getting everybody to stop eating poison, it seems like it should be up there.
Yeah,
and like
that's something
going
like,
against Big Pharma, going against the FDA, going against these things set in place where a couple food companies own all the food. That's bad. That cannot be good.
Yeah.
A couple of Big Pharma people control all the medicine intake. That's bad. You know what I'm saying? The donors to the politicians most of the time control what politicians do and go against or go for. That's bad.
Yeah.
Attacking the things that are really happening, like the big things. Because if you let, like, let's say Kellogg's for an example, if you let a company like Kellogg's go unchecked, they will do what they've been doing for years, where Lucky Charms has things.
The iron in it or whatever it is.
There is 70 less ingredients in Lucky Charms in Canada.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We eat things every day that are banned in other countries. That is wild. And it's like, I want to eat healthy. It is so hard. Why is it so hard? Because there's a conglomerate set up of people that know how to maximize profit. Yeah. And maximize profit means triple,
keep us tired.
Quadruple, ultra processing, all this stuff. You should never eat McDonald's fries. That is the dumbest shit in the world.
Yeah. Unless it's fried in beef tallow.
McDonald's fries?
That's what they used to be fried. That was like the whole joke with the whole thing.
Original? Okay.
Like RFK is like, you know, it's like endorses Trump or whatever. And then Trump goes to McDonald's and it's like, dude, what about the Make America Healthy?
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
And it's like,
I was like,
he's like, well, so back in the day, and RFK even said this, he was like, you know, Americans should not be afraid to go out to eat at a restaurant and feel like they're getting poisoned or that they're eating unhealthy food. They should be able to go to a McDonald's or whatever it is and be able to eat food and it be good for them, right? And so back in the day, McDonald's would actually fry their fries in beef tallow, which is really good for you. It's a very healthy fat.
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't we go back to that?
Yeah, let's do that because McDonald's is a corporation. I don't know how many people really go down any rabbit hole enough to get to the fact that corporations run this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
It is really
America is a corporation.
Yes. And if you look through time, there is not many good examples of positive corporations. You almost can't even grow to that point without doing something shiesty. Like, and then I don't want to get into like the all rich people are crooked and you have to be crooked to get to a certain point. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but to be a corporation that has like control in American politics and what I'm able to get when I drive down the street.
Yep.
You get there by maximizing profits. These people may not, and that's something I think about. These people may not even be evil. It's like some people are on they take the same information and go another route. They're poisoning us. This is intentional. There's this and that. I'm not even sure it's intentional. I think at the end of the day, it could be a profit thing.
Yeah. Always 100. It's always.
And we're just collateral damage. Like the regular person is collateral damage so that McDonald's could make profit. So that not just picking on McDonald's, but all of them.
It's all of them. Well, I mean, because, you get sick and you go to the doctor and they give you medicine and they're making money off you there too. And then
most prescriptions
put in the
don't,
cycle.
Yeah, they don't. A lot of prescriptions don't fix you. Why not?
Yeah.
Like if we call prescription solutions sometimes. And I'm not anti-medicine all the way. I'm anti-big pharma for sure. But we call stuff a solution. I'll go get on this certain type of medicine and it's the solution. But if you had a different type of problem in your life and you wouldn't call something that temporarily fixes it, that you keep needing, that you wouldn't call a solution. Sometimes you might call it an addiction. So anyways.
Yeah, I actually talk about this in the book.
Really?
Not necessarily like all the stuff we're talking about, but yeah, we don't attack things at the root. We like whack the head off, right? We get the quick fix. We take the medicine. We do this instead of like attacking the root, and that's what like, bro. I'm trying to go into the next 4 years hopeful. Like, I really do think that it could be beneficial. I know people are like high up in their emotions and stuff like, and I get it. I totally get it. I'm trying to be optimistic about this, right? Once again, I'm trying to make it my best year ever.
Yeah, and I'm with that. And I was sitting on your. I know, dude. 100%. I mean,
but I mean, seriously, like, I want to be hopeful that, like, man, we get to a place where, like, we can eat healthy food, that, like, we can have money put back for our kids, that, like, man, like, all of the little things that we're worried about, the big talking points, man, I hope that, like, they kind of, like, come to a head, like they get solved, like the abortion thing and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know that's a hot topic and that's a really difficult thing. My wife, we even kind of dealt with that last year as well when she had her miscarriage. Like, that's technically considered an abortion, And so, like, if it becomes a life and death thing, like, dude, I get it. There's so many intricacies.
That's so natural, though. I wouldn't call it miscarriage.
Well, no, literally when they document it in the hospital, it's labeled as an abortion because they give you medicine to abort the fetus. So it's labeled as an abortion.
So it doesn't do something unhealthy to the mom?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And so, but anyways, it's like,
that's the thing. Like, if you box in that word, like, I don't think that you should be able to go mess around, do something unresponsible, and then be able to just be the way to get out of it.
9 months, man.
Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you've got 2 kids, two or 3. I forget. Okay, 2. That's what I thought too.
I have a son and a daughter, 2 and 4, almost 4. 2
Bro,
and almost 4. Yeah.
You can't tell me like you haven't put your hand on your wife's belly like on those last few weeks, and like that child's in there, and when they come out, they've heard your voice. Like, man, there's something like,
if a lady gets raped, and I know that's a terrible thing to say, but if that happens, I understand. I'm not like, I get in deals, but I just don't think,
Did we wait until the 9th month though?
No, that's terrible. I don't, I can't get down with that.
And also like, I just like, once again, we got two guys talking on this, and I had a college professor. It's like, I was like, man, I did this paper, and in this paper, it was about a Jewish gay woman, and I'm like, dude, I'm a white dude from Texas. What do I have to talk on this?
Yeah.
And he says, don't ever let, who you are hinder your voice. And so when I say, hey, we're two guys, do we have a voice here? Yes, we have a voice here.
Yeah.
Are we really the ones who make the ultimate decisions for everybody else? No, not necessarily, but we do have a voice. But what I would like to be interested in seeing, once again, this is my thought, my opinion. Y'all can throw it away for whatever it's worth. Like, this is just thoughts and Chase's head that I'm sharing on the show, is what if it doesn't have to be so black and white?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, what if we could find some other systems to fund and to develop to, where we talk about like walking through this, like, yeah, you got raped. Like, let's put this person in therapy and like, let's birth this child and let's like get it into, like, let's make the foster care a little bit better. Let's make the adoption thing a whole lot easier. There's people who want to adopt kids who can't, yet we have this abundance of foster children. It's like, we got to fix those problems. Like, these are some things that we can fix.
Are messed up bad.
And think about it, man. Like, if we can
so that's one part that makes the we should stop aborting babies, we should just adopt them. That it's tough to do that because you can't.
You're putting them in the system and all that kind of stuff.
And then people say they're ready to do a bunch of adopting, but what if they're not?
Yeah, right.
What if you can't find that person? I mean, I think what you're saying is we need to have some system that really zones in on the gray areas and has something that makes sense. Yeah, I think it's just more of, can we at least open up? And maybe there are conversations about this, and I'm just not in those rooms of, it's not you had the baby or it's aborted, but like, are there these other conversations that can be had where we can save and protect the life, but we also, because I know people who have had an abortion and they regret it. Yeah, that's got to be terrible.
They regret it.
Yeah, that's got to be awful.
And they live with it. And then what happens is they get in a position where they can't have a child. Like, it almost feels like punishment almost, And I'm not saying that that's like God's intention or anything, but that's how it feels, And so that's a really, really hard thing. And it's a hard choice. And I just wish that we would discuss other avenues where it's like, hey, let's have, marriage counseling, therapy, and let's like find funding for this, or let's like have different, like, I mean, maybe there hasn't even been a system created for this yet that could be like a government type thing that like, helps make this happen, or it's a nonprofit. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, something.
So, but anyways.
Something to be different than just like, we're either banning it or freely allowing it.
Right.
I don't think you should be able to just go do something that's irresponsible. And I think, and we've turned sex into such a plaything anyway.
Yes.
Oh, well, whoops, I accidentally got her pregnant. Well, that's okay. We'll fix that. Like, but see, the problem with it is like you're saying, I still have a voice and I should speak my opinion, because what I'm finna say is I shouldn't speak on this because of but maybe I should because I am. So me and my wife, we have like what to most people would be the most old schoolish type relationship.
Yeah.
We dated for 4 years. We did not have sex while we dated. This was wild stuff for a lot of people.
Yeah. No, that's
it was insane, and I ain't gonna lie.
It's incredibly admirable in today's culture.
And at the moment, it was religiously based. I will say that, but the amount of work that took,
yeah.
And I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, but it's super personal. But like, I say this to say, we have done things in a way that, and I feel like this is why things have worked out for us, because over 12 years, we've done things in what I feel is a pretty right and honorable way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Waited at certain times for things that we could have started doing way earlier, right?
Yeah.
But we wait, right? When it's time for, and then when we have kids, it's later. Like we wait and have kids after we've been married from 2016 to 2000, almost 21. So 5 years we run around together.
Yeah.
And then we have kids, right? And, I, as an adult, because I've been with her since I was 17, I've never even thought about like a personal situation where like abortion would even be a thought. Never even had to think about it.
Yeah.
And in a way, in my mind, that makes me feel like I'm unqualified to talk about this. But then on the other hand, it's like, dude, if you live out here intentional, you do things in an intentional way, sometimes you can avoid some of this stuff. If you're, and if you live loose and something happens as a result of that, should that be the scapegoat?
Yeah. I mean, once again, it just goes back to, I think I heard JD Vance even say this on Rogan or something, but
why is he so cool?
Dude, he's cool.
They try to tell us he was weird.
He's not weird. He's cool.
Dude, JD Vance is cool as shit. But anyways.
But he says, something like he wants to get to a place where women feel like they have options.
Right, and I am with that. I'm definitely not shut people down from it. I do feel like there's some wild circumstances in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, Lord, this is the wrong way to go before we end this, because we do need to end it. I know it's late. I'm so sorry. But
dude, you're good.
Like the my body, my choice deal. I understand that in a way, but at the same time, it's like we're focusing in on like one part of the body and saying you have control and that the government should let go of that one part of your body.
Yeah.
That it's like, dude, your hand is also your body, your choice. If you pick up a knife and stab somebody, the government can be like, yo, it's crazy. Like, don't do that. Like you could take a life with your hand, and that would be your body and your choice. Right. But if you a procedure way of doing it, what is the difference? But I mean, it's one of them. It's what I want to call it's one of them impossible problems almost.
Yeah.
I think we like impossible problems because it lets people sit around like this for 3 hours on a podcast and talk
conversate about it. Yeah.
It is important. But here's the last thing I want to say. I've talked way more than normal, but.
Do you say that on every show?
No, really. I don't know. I have took off tonight, and it's
awesome.
When Rogan does this, I get nervous too because I'm like, dude, let the guest talk. But I see people when I wake up this morning, like women, like scared, like, and to a degree, I think it's like, damn, maybe you played too much into like the ideology that's being pushed, but at the same time, it's like that doesn't matter. They're literally scared, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
right. So we have to have some type of system where women don't feel like we can't just, I don't know.
Once again, going back to JD Vance, not to harp on that dude, but he is kind of cool. But he's like, we've lost the trust of people. A lot of women do not trust the Republicans.
Yeah.
He said, we've got to do a better job of gaining the trust back to the Republicans in regards to some of these different topics.
Here's my, God dang it, bro. When I say I got to go, and then I think of something, I say, here's my last hot take of the night. I think Republicans, this is going to sound bad. I think they need to lean just far enough into Christianity. I'm sorry for saying this, but I think they need to be better at seeing the world without it. I know,
a lot of like the conservative beliefs, like a lot of like Christianity, like there's a lot of like it's not 100% parallel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Jesus would have been a conservative one. Like he was a hippie dude. Let's be realistic. Jesus was with
he knew
sinners.
how to manage his bag for sure.
Yeah, he was with the sinners drinking wine. He was partying. Jesus was cool, dude. Like Jesus was not like.
Yeah, well.
Jesus didn't have no land. Jesus wasn't worried about taxes. Jesus wasn't doing Jesus was more hippie than conservative. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Jesus slept on the ground a lot of places. Jesus slept wherever they let him go in a lot of places.
We don't have time to go into all of this, but I actually did a huge Bible study like last week on God's economy, because in the Bible, he lays out what the ideal economy is.
Right.
And he does it in the very first few books of the Bible. Right.
But I think that we're talking about efficiently running a whole country.
Yeah.
A country where they like I get it. Christians are saying we need this. We'll convert the whole country. That's not realistic. It's not going to happen. The separation of church and state, I think, is important because if you are in charge, you may believe Jesus is Lord. So but there's 50% more people in the world that do not think that way.
Yeah.
Not in the world, but in the United States. And they still need to be governed and managed in a fair way because
So if you go back and actually look at the separation of church and state, it was not to keep the church out of the state. It was to keep the state out of the church.
Mm.
And so it's to keep the politics from coming in like they did in 2020. Hey, we're fixing to shut down your church and y'all aren't able to meet anymore. And we're going to start imposing all of these different regulations and all that kind of stuff.
That goes against freedom of religion, the freedom to gather.
Separation of church and state.
Yeah, that's crazy that churches got shut down.
Yeah.
It's wild. But anyways.
But strip clubs were open. Casinos were open. Was Walmart open? You're like, well, we had to have those.
Yeah. What did we say earlier? We're talking about the, what did they call us again? I can't even remember. The essential. We're talking about.
Oh, yeah, those are essential. Okay, so, all right, if we're going to wrap this up and we're on the whole politics thing.
How about this? You give us a statement to wrap the show up. Because if I
don't have a statement, but
okay, I will mess it up and I will keep talking. So.
Well, I'm going to propose a question and then I'll give some thoughts. And we can maybe hopefully end on a positive note. People, I don't know. I don't really know.
This has been a roller coaster, hasn't it?
It has been. We started off calling him T-Dog and now we're just like saying it. So,
well, I was just making a joke, really.
Oh, I got you.
Just a little sensitive.
So this dude eats McDonald's, drinks Diet Coke, and rarely exercises.
Talk about Trump.
Yeah.
He plays golf. He's a golfer.
He plays golf. Would you say he's overweight?
Yeah, I'd say he's a little.
What would you rate his energy level on?
Oh, dude's an animal.
How?
I do not know. He says he's never done drugs. He's never drank. That's what he says, at least.
That's the key to like having boundless energy.
No, but I'm just saying that. I was just saying that according to him, he's not drawing energy from other places, like substances. At least.
Yeah.
Bro, he did like 60 days campaigning in a row. Dude is an animal. Like,
so here's my thoughts. And I think this will be a good thing. And I think this is actually going to benefit you with tying it back into your podcast, the journey that you're on. And even because this was the thought that I had like for myself, I think there's an energy to tap into, like to get even like a little like weird about it. Like there's an energy to tap into.
Get weird, get freaky.
If you think about this dude, 60 days campaigning, he's doing like how many rallies?
Dude,
like, and then he's doing interviews. He's flying across the country. He's doing Rogan interviews, and he's going to like Michigan or whatever it was, like
all the way across,
the map. And he's like on fire and doing this. How does it happen? It's synergy. Yeah. It's synergy because there are literally thousands and thousands of people who are showing up to these things, who are clapping, who are cheering, who are shouting. They're waiting for him to get there. They're tapping into the podcast. They're like watching his live streams or whatever it is. It's like there is a sense of purpose underneath it. And there is like, it's literally energy beyond you, right? Being fed into you. And man, I really do think that there is a way that you can, that we can tap into this kind of energy.
I believe it.
You know, and it's like, I don't know if it's a fake it till you make it type thing. I'm really not super big on that, but I really do think it's like getting locked in on your audience. Like, man, these people are depending on you to show up, right? They're waiting for the next episode. They're waiting to see the next Facebook reel. They're, you know, your kids are waiting to see what happens with, you know, this, you know, what you're doing, what you're building, the future. And whether it's 100% real right now or not, I bet Trump's first rally was not as big as this last one as big as the MSG one or any of this thing, right? But he was already starting to operate in that synergy. And what will happen is you start to access it and you start to tap into it. Then even when you're at home and you're washing the dishes or you're at your job and you're working, you're still tapped in because you're connected to that through line, that thing that's like driving you through, right? Because even when he's like in the dump truck, right? Or the garbage truck or whatever, like, man, it's just like, he's on point. He's saying stupid, funny stuff. It's like hilarious. It's like, how can you not be like, at least watching out of entertainment? Like, this is that's hilarious to watch.
He boosts news ratings. That's why they talk about him.
Yeah.
I
And
think some of these news people aren't even. Well, some of them are definitely anti-Trump, but some of them just know what's gonna it's good. It's good entertainment.
It is. It is. We're back to good political theater.
Dude,
they call it political
I
theater
would say
for a
this
reason.
though, synergy, whatever you call it. I think he won. He campaigned better than
He
her.
100% did.
Dude, he whooped her ass campaigning. I mean, take even just all the political, like take opinions,
Take it all out.
take the
Take the policies out. Yep.
everything out.
He ran a race.
This is his third one. He's a dog, and they rushed her in.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
And I don't think she was built for this kind of thing.
No, I think she's probably. I honestly, in my heart, I think she's probably relieved a little bit,
Probably so.
dude. Like, I mean, just compare how they interviewed, like Trump in an interview. He's in control. He knows what he's talking about. He knows his policies. He's talking. What I wanted from her so bad were just some like answers, dude. So many times she would answer questions. Like I'd watch her in these hour-long interviews. An hour is not long enough still, but just watch her in the interview, even the long ones. And they would say, "What's your stance on this?" And she'd say, "I'm going to follow the law." That is not enough.
Yeah. No,
That's
the American
not
people
enough.
deserve more.
No,
you know?
dude, you got to go. Like at least with Trump, you know exactly what he's doing,
Yeah.
dude. You know exactly. There is no, like we know it's immigration. We know it's tariffs. We know the shit that he's trying to push because he said it.
Hey, look, here's like kind of my thing is at the end of the day, like I couldn't do the identity politics of it all, you know? And here's the thing. If it turns out that he's the Antichrist and we all get freaking deceived and whatever, I'll be the first to eat crow. Like
Yep,
crap.
sorry.
My bad.
All we can do is take in information and do what we
And
think is
make
right.
the best decision.
Yeah.
Like I've been in prayer over the situation. Hey, this is what he's saying. This is the closest to my beliefs and my thoughts. Like this is what I want to see happen. I want to see a healthier America. Like I want to see a wealthier America. I want to be able to buy a home for me and my family one day. Like I want these things.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen and we get deceived or whatever it is, then like, yeah, I'm
Yeah, but it's still better than I've been on the not vote train of thought before. But it's like you at least did something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, appreciate y'all tapping in. Remember his book. Go get his book. I have to stop, dude. I'm literally getting my I feel very tired. My arms are tingling. I know I've been sitting here too long. I've been
dude. Okay, so how long did we go?
Let's see. Let's check it out. Let's check our volume. Yeah. I know our audio is good. We did it, dude. We went crazy for. You do the math. It's been 150 minutes.
That's 2 and something, 2.5.
Damn, yeah. I like it. Hey.
Sweet, man. Thanks for having me on.
It's been fun, dude. And I
that was
think
good.
I haven't got to do one of these real long ones in a while. That's how you that's how you really get some shit out. But Chase, like.
Are you still rolling?
Oh, yeah, my bad. I ain't cut off yet.
My bad. Oh, we're still on this thing.
Checking this out. But yeah, like, dude, in hour 2 and 3, it gets wild, right?
Yeah.
Things got a little wild. Everybody's guards down. If that is exactly the point I was making earlier. That's why we want to see people talk for hours.
So now everybody knows where we stand, huh?
Yeah. I really don't think I've said nothing too crazy out of pocket.
No.
I may have spouted some conspiracies that may not happen, but I mean,
you know, we'll be zombie robot, cyborg, AI.
I'm just saying, dude, if I could dunk tomorrow, like, dude, maybe do something to my leg.
Man.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
All right, Chase Livingston, thank you so much for coming on the podcast,
thanks for having me on, man.
dude.
This was
been
awesome.
great. Go get his book, November 23rd. It drops. I'll be at the.
Can I share where they can grab it?
Yeah.
So of course, like you can follow me like on all social platforms at Chase Inspires. But if you want to, you can pre-order the book right now. You can go to www.chaseinspires.com/Garden of Greatness book. And you can grab the book there. You can pre-order it now. You'll be one of the first to get it. And then after it releases, you can also get some like pretty cool. I'm going to be sending out some like bonus content with it as well. So it'd be pretty good.
But yeah, if you go on TikTok, search his username. I think it's Grandma's Peaches. Or
Oh, you jerk.
No, I'm playing. No, appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you
man.
for tapping in.